right, welcome back to another edition of Lost in the Dark podcast. Back here tonight with Aaron and yet another guest. Mike is here from Bog Wraith.
What up?
What up? So, we're here tonight to talk about the new Slipknot album in the Knotfest Roadshow that we all attended last week. But before we do that, let's just, because we had some people from Recorruptor, we had Alex and Chase on here last week. So I want to ask you a couple questions real quick. I guess first, how long have you lived in Lansing?
Well, first off, this is ambush journalism.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
No, I've lived Lansing. Lansing proper, like in Lansing since I was 15.
Oh, okay.
But I grew up in Hazlitt.
Oh, okay. Okay. So mid-Michigan your whole life, pretty much. Oh, all right.
Time. Yep.
Hell yeah. And so when did you come in with Bog Wraith? How did you meet them?
Oh, well, actually, Julian, Alex, and I were in a band, Photic, formerly Betray the Prophet before that. A few years, all of us together. And when that band kind of dissolved, Julian and I were tossed around the idea of doing another band. Alex came in shortly thereafter. And then everything just kind of like hit really quick. Like we had Chase waiting in the wings with Betray the Prophet in case our one guitarist who was having a kid at the time thought we might need him to come fill in for a couple shows. So I had Chase waiting in the wings, and then Alex hit us up one night and said he was working, I think up at one of the bars. He was working as a bouncer. He was talking to Aaron. He's like, yeah, this guy wants to come play drums. And I was like, I was going to play drums for this new band, but then they're like, yeah, Aaron from, I think we played with you in Magnolia.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, from Magnolia wants to come play drums for us. And I was like, yeah, dude, like, bring him in for sure. And they're like, well, what are you going to do? I was like, I don't know, play bass. Like, I guess. It can't be that hard, right? No, I was wrong. So yeah, been with Julian. It's me, Julian, and Alex for about 5-6 years at this point.
Hell yeah. Awesome. And then just to kind of round it out real quick, because I asked everybody else this, how did you get into heavy metal? How old were you and all that stuff?
It was actually Slipknot. I was like 10, 11 years old. Stepdad was in UAW, and they had these pancake breakfasts all the time. Well, I was already becoming a rebellious little shithead, and I wanted nothing to do with going to these formal functions. So I still had to go, but I sat in his truck, and he had a Slipknot CD. And I was just going through his CDs and checking them out, and like most of them were garbage. It was like there was like a Limp Bizkit one that I didn't like, and there was a couple rap ones I didn't like. But then me and my cousin that were sitting in there, we put in the Slipknot one, and it had, the noise track at first with the numbers. I can never remember them all. So we skipped it, and then we went to Sick, and it starts out just da, 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 and we're like, oh, nope. We skipped ahead to Wait and Bleed. Mm-hmm. And that one starts out with a little more clean singing, so we kind of listened to it, and we're like, oh, this is really cool. We're liking this. And then Surfacing came on, and we, like, lost our minds. Like, that became, my cousin and I, to this day, we call it our fuck a day song when you're just having one of those days, So after that, like, listened to Slipknot and, like, slowly started finding other bands. Like, friends at school, I would be like, oh, here's the Slipknot band. And, like, 90% of them, because I grew up with a bunch of nerds, would be like, oh, that's devil music. Like, my parents don't let us listen to that. Like, don't bring that CD into my house. My mom will know and I'll get grounded.
They were at one point that band.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like,
well, I mean, then a couple years later, Iowa comes out and they're like carrying goat heads around and like pentagrams everywhere. So, and like I got right into that. So like my group of friends, I went from like bowl cut, like wolf shirt wearing kid to like coming to school with like blackout makeup on and like hair down to my shoulders and fishnets and a trench coat, and I switched like that, like real fast.
Were you ever into like Manson?
Oh yeah.
Yep. All right. Hell yeah.
Yep. First metal concert I went to was Ozfest, when it was I think it was Disturbed, Manson, Korn, and then Ozzy. I think was the four of them. I think it was.
What year would that have been?
04, 05, I think.
All right. Damn.
Yeah, and that was like, I went there, wearing still like, because the first few years listened to Slipknot and stuff like that. I wasn't really into metal. It's just I listened to Slipknot, and then like I found Mudvayne, and kind of like them. I heard them on MTV and like Dig. So I hadn't like really broadened my horizons much until I went to Ozfest, and my like buddy's parents' friend had extra tickets, and they're like, "Oh, you listen to this screamy stuff, and they're gonna be there, so you should go with them." And I was walking around, and I saw these people walk around in like 6-inch platform boots with like sleeveless trench coats and like black makeup all over their face. I told my friend, I'm like, "Dude, I'm gonna do that." Like,
Hell
you
yeah.
just watch. She's like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "Just watch, man." I convinced my mom to like take me to Hot Topic, drop a dime on me buying a bunch of whole bunch of goth clothes and fishnets, and like she was happy because she had all boys and she got to teach me how to put on makeup. So
I never knew that.
That
to be
works.
honest with you.
oh yeah.
Hell fucking yeah. So that was your first metal concert, was Ozfest 04?
Yep.
So what was your first concert at all?
That was what was it? It was not Trace Adkins.
Oh boy.
I think it was Garth Brooks and Three Doors Down.
Oh.
At Pine Knob. When I was in like 3rd grade, and it was the same friend that took me to Ozfest like all these years later. But
Damn.
like, his parents just had an extra ticket, and my parents wanted to be out of the house for the weekend, so they were
Fair-
like, "Yeah,
fair
take
enough.
him, like get him out of here."
Oh, that's funny because Three Doors Down was like the first CD I ever remember getting. It was like a gift.
Ah,
Dude, Kryptonite, man.
Man, I'm telling you,
Kryptonite went hard.
that album had some bangers on it. Even still, like.
I actually did like Kryptonite, that's true. But I was also a kid really into comic books, so anything
Yeah.
about Superman, I was like, okay. Smallville was big at the time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Smallville.
Yeah. Fuck, I remember that shit. Hell yeah. So that was so that would have been in the 90s then probably that you saw that.
Yeah, that had to be 97, 98, something like
Jesus.
that. Yeah.
Wow. Hell yeah. So you came into it all with Slipknot.
Yep.
They
They're
were
that
the-
band.
They were the bridge. They were the big bridge. So what the hell then do you think of the new album, man?
Oh, dude, I loved it. First off, I was the moment like the first couple singles it was Unsainted first, right?
Well, unless you count All Out Life, but yeah.
Oh, All Out Life, that we were at Bog Wraith, we were talking about like dropping like a surprise single in October that year, and then All Out Life came out. I'm like, dude, thank God we didn't do that. Like, talk about being friggin' overshadowed, right?
Yeah.
Like I loved All Out Life, and like was kind of bummed it wasn't on this album because I knew it would fit in there.
It does. I agree. It's a great song, but it is on the Japanese version, so technically it is on the album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm sure at some point I'll like be sitting there and convince myself to buy it, and I will.
Mhm.
I always end up doing that. But yeah, dude, and then Solway Firth came out after that, and which I thought was weird that they
Well,
released the first and the
After
last.
Unsainted, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. The first and the last songs were the first 2 singles.
Yeah,
Interesting. I didn't think about
and
that.
then
till just now.
Birth of the Cruel was what like 4 or 5 days before.
Yeah.
Launch
It was, I think it was
Uh-huh.
a week before.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I love the album, man, front to back. I've been listening to it on repeat at work as much as I can.
I have too. I've been listening to it a lot. My background with Slipknot is not my bridge into everything was more the older stuff. Like my uncle got me into like he kind of started me off with I mean way back when he showed me stuff like Gwar and stuff like that. But then I kind of really started getting into it with Rage Against the Machine, and then Metallica and Pantera, and then I found Iron Maiden and Megadeth and Dio and Ozzy and everything else. So I kind of got started with the older stuff. And by the time I was really getting into everything in late middle school, early high school, I was I was of the mind that anything that was fucking played on the radio was garbage. If it was on the radio, I didn't even want to deal with it. And Slipknot was on the radio. So but they were always like, oh, I like their heavy. I was always like, I like their heavy parts. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until a few years later, after everything, that I kind of went back and started. It had been, because that's what it was kind of. Now that I think about it, it was at a point where it had been so long since I'd listened to the radio. To this day, I don't think I've listened to a radio station in almost maybe 7-8 years or so. So I don't even know what the fuck's on the radio anymore. So
it's all trash.
I disconnected myself from it, and now I feel like I can go back and listen to everything with fresh ears and not have kind of that, like, you know, those preconceived notions about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And since I've been doing that, yeah, I've really been enjoying Slipknot. And so, and I always honestly, I think I did buy Volume 3 when it came out because I love Before I Forget. Like, I always liked that song. And I never remember the name of it, but I pushed my fingers into my eyes. Like,
Duality.
Duality, yeah, there we go. Those two songs I always really liked. And so, yeah, I fucking... but just in the past, more recent years, I started getting back really into them. And then this... And I got excited for this album coming out because of Aaron and how into him Aaron is. And I was like, you know, I'm excited for him because to me, that's like if a new Lamb of God album or a new Iron Maiden album was coming out. And so, yeah, I wanted to like get on the hype train with them. You know what I mean? I wanted to get into it and everything. Yeah. And so, yeah, I got the album when it came out and I have liked it so much more than I expected to. Like there's so much. It's such a giant album. It's over an hour long, 15 tracks if you count the bonus All Out Live. It's thick. It has like a haunting aura around it that like flows throughout the album. And even if I'm like, if I just want to hear like a good, fast, hard, heavy Slipknot song, there are songs on that album that I would obviously never turn on for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just to hear a quick song. But there's not a single song on the album that I would skip if I were listening to it top to bottom, because it all just flows together with this feel about it, and like it builds on itself. And yeah, every listen I hear something different, and I end up liking it more. Yeah, it's fucking. I'm loving it myself. Yeah,
It's funny you said that because one of the things, because I went back, like, I don't know, after a couple of days, because I think we were talking about this, went back and listened to Volume 5 and then Volume 3 to kind of like do a comparison on it or whatever, and like one of the first things I noticed was in the first song, at the very end of it, there's a pig noise. Like the very end of the first song. I'm
going to give you full disclosure. What was the... All Hope Is Gone in Volume 5.
Great chapter is Volume 5.
Right.
Yeah. All Hope Is Gone is
those
before that or after that. So.
Besides those two albums,
no, it was before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but besides those two albums is singles. I've never listened to those. Those are the two I don't have. I need to get, after liking this one so much, I want to go back and get those two. I only have the first 3 in this one. I
would argue and say that Volume 5 is closer to the new one than All Hope Is Gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it's got like more of like the tighter feel.
Yeah.
Like you can hear that the band had like a solid vision like throughout, like, you know, like Slipknot does in actually their title ones, their Volume 3, Volume 5, they had those like succinct top to bottom. The filler tracks made more sense because they kind of flowed between songs better. Say is like All Hope Is Gone.
Yeah.
Didn't really have that. Like it was a collection of good Slipknot songs, and I like all the songs on the album. Like, but like
it was
3,
more a
5,
collection than a conceived thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the biggest difference between even you know, like the last one in like Volume 3, I'd say, is that it's all one. It feels like it's all one idea instead of just like a collection of songs and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I guess Volume 5 had a couple of moments where it was, I don't know, there was a couple of like filler songs I didn't really care for towards the end of it, but like, I don't know, like it's just the little things like that. And like, you know, I mean, the only reason I bring that up is because Paul was the pig in the band.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was kind of a cool touch.
Oh,
it's like at the very, it's really subtle.
That honestly, dude. Like I'm talking top to bottom probably like 30 times for me at this point, and like I haven't noticed that. So like on my next one, I'm gonna be sitting there like in anticipation. I'm gonna hear it, and I guarantee I'll just start clapping like a giddy schoolgirl. Like,
dude, it was one of those things where I was like, dude, that's great. And then it goes into the next song, which is like it's got that like slower kind of start to it. So
hell yeah. No, yeah. Those are the two that I need to get into, because I never really was a big fan of Psychosocial. Honestly, I was never a big fan of Psychosocial until we just saw it live.
Yeah.
It sounded so different and so much fucking heavier this time. It was crazy. Like I was like, damn, maybe I need to go back and listen to that song, like, because that was sick live. Like, holy shit.
Well, there's definitely something to be said for Slipknot's live shows. Like a song like Prosthetics. Like they played Prosthetics at Knotfest, and that like hearing that, dude, I lost my mind. Like I've been to Slipknot shows for the past 15 years, and like hearing that one this time, like I lost it. And it's like it goes so hard live. And then I was listening back through the album, and when I heard Prosthetics again, I was like, yeah, the song definitely, like, I can sit there and headbang on the line to it, but like I was like grabbing onto that fence post and just thrashing out to Prosthetics, dude. Like, there's something to be said about Slipknot's like energy when all 9 of them are up there just giving it their all, going nuts. And
there's a lot to be said for that. And yeah, that's a good, the fucking Knotfest Roadshow. The first time they've ever taken Knotfest on the road, their version of like an Ozfest sort of thing.
To this degree.
Yeah.
Like they
did, was it 2 years ago? They had 2 or 3 years ago, they did one in like like California, and then one in Mexico.
I think maybe one in Texas or something. Something like that. Yeah.
This first year that they've actually made a full tour of it.
And some of those were actual Ozfest meets Knotfest. Yeah. Nosfest.
Nosfest.
And like, so in a world where there is no Ozfest and there is no Mayhem Festival, massive touring heavy metal festivals, this summer we got the Slayer tour, which was a huge bill, and then we got the Slipknot Knotfest Roadshow. So combine those two, you pretty much do have a full festival.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and
I gotta say, like, there's some, I love those, like the old Mayhem Fest and Ozfest things, but like the one thing that always got me was going and like seeing like second stages stacked this year.
Yep.
But each band gets 25 minutes.
Yep.
They rush out there. Like I've only ever seen Chimera. Like Chimera's one of the bands like from my early days that I finally got to see them at Mayhem Fest, and they got up there, they played like 4 of their singles. The guy made a joke about legal weed in Michigan. They played one more single, and then they were done right as In This Moment was coming out, and I had to like fight through a group of people to go see In This Moment play their like couple singles. So like getting to see like Behemoth full stage set, like rocking
on the main stage.
Like
that was unbelievable.
Oh, dude. And that was my first time for both Behemoth and Gojira.
First time you saw Behemoth?
Yeah.
That was the first time they've ever been touring in the United States and been able to use pyro.
Oh shit. Okay.
So that's the first time you ever saw them.
Nice.
Was the first time they used pyro, and that was unbelievable. They sounded incredible. They really did sound absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Now, were you at that Ozfest 2007, the free one?
No. We I tried to do the whole like getting the free passes online, and our internet was shit, and I ended up not getting my passes, and I fought tooth and nail to try to get tickets to that thing, but
damn,
it was dude. That sucked. I'm so bummed I missed that one.
That one, because that was like the last one, and that's the only one I've ever been to, and yeah, that the way the parking lot was set up for that one was perfect. It was like, actually, now that I think about it, I think there was only one stage. Yeah.
Yep.
And it was just a whole parking lot. That was way better than the way Mayhem did it, where it was set 2 stages next to each other.
Yeah. See, that's I actually saw. So it would have been 2005, when Volume 3 came out. Slipknot headlined main stage at the Ozfest that year.
Oh wow.
And that was insane. Like, cause I was really glad they headlined the main stage there, because I got to get like right up front. Like, and they had the tiny stage with like they didn't have the big movable drum sets for the other 2 guys. They were like just wheeled out on carts. Like they were just right there in front of you. It was like super raw and just in your face. Like there was no big pyrotechnics or anything like that, because they were just on like a trailer stage. Yeah, dude, that year was sweet. There was one point in that year where they were doing Blister Exists, the snare drum part, and that was the album where they debuted the snare drum bits, and now they do it every album.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole pit stopped, and everyone got down on their knees and started tapping out the drum beat on the cement. So and it was just like flesh slapping cement like over the sounds of the snare drums. It was just, oh dude, that was awesome.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was a surreal show, dude.
That would have been fucking crazy.
That's because I saw
Sounds
him.
nuts.
I saw him on the All Hope Is Gone tour the first time, and like one of the things that I wish I would have been able to get a chance at was seeing him on that one, because that's like the gateway album for me. But that was also like, you know, the favorite at the time. And
well, they definitely they kind of switched it up a little bit. Because self-titled Iowa and Volume 3 were all very dark and like more like visceral heavy albums.
Yeah.
So like at that time when they were on the smaller stage, like, and you were right up there and like Corey Taylor's like spitting at you for reaching up to the stage, and like, you know, Clown's like pointing his bat out and you're able to reach out and touch it.
yeah.
And then, you know, the next time I saw him was Volume 5, and it was like this huge production, and there's light shows, and they had the death mask that they changed for Vermilion at one point. Like, that was like, it went from being going to see a band to like going to see a show.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they hit that transition real well.
Yeah.
That's one of the, I mean, as sick as it was seeing them at, you know, DTE and stuff, that's like one of the, because I've only ever seen them either in like seats or like kind of far away, and that's like one of the things that I want to at least have like one chance at, is kind of like see them in like a you know, like a traditional kind of pit area.
Open floor.
Where it's like,
Now,
yeah.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that next time they come through, because I mean, this is Knotfest, this is a summer tour, and the album dropped on during that. Like, they're gonna do a full, you know,
Big.
We Are Not Your Kind tour. I'll drop the pit money for
Yeah.
that, like
Oh,
for that
dude.
one.
Yeah.
If that shit comes to like the Little Caesars Arena, the dojo,
Oh,
then, and yeah, if there's a main floor for that, yeah, we have to see that.
because that, like, when they did the my favorite thing, they do it every show
Yep.
with Spit It Out. Everyone gets down,
Yep.
and Corey tells you to jump the fuck up, and everyone jumps the fuck up. It was Van Andel, I think, down on the floor, and there was this little kid, 12, 13 years old, braces, wearing the Slipknot shirt that he just bought when he got there. Like, his mom was probably waiting by the door. And like at Knotfest, they did about 30 seconds of everyone crouched down. But at the old shows, it was like 5 minutes. Like, Sid would come out and walk around the crowd and like be like pushing people down. Like, Clown would be out there with a camera, like getting up in people's faces. It was,
Damn.
yeah, they'd get real about it. So we're at Van Andel, and this little kid's crouched down next to me, and like I'm like bouncing on my feet, like waiting for him to say it, I'm ready to go. And this kid looks at me like this, like deer in the headlights. Like, he goes, "Is this gonna get bad?" And before I could respond to the poor little dude, just jump the fuck up, and everyone goes up. I just watched him just get swallowed into a sea of people, like 3 times his size. Like, I still think about that kid every once in a while.
Oh,
like,
no.
You ever make it out? Or
like yeah, well, I'm wondering if, like, no, rumor has it you walk into Van Andel and like you just scream "jump the fuck up" and you can still hear that kid scream.
Yeah. Oh, I have something similar. The first time I ever saw Cannibal Corpse was at the Majestic Theater in Detroit.
Oh.
And my cousin and I were standing out, like out towards the side, like maybe stage right, like towards the back a little bit, like on the back end of the pit. And there's this girl, you know, I have no idea how old she was, but she was short. She could have been, you know, older than us at the time though, or whatever. And she was just like standing there all by herself in a completely open area. There weren't even that many people there. And it was the Metal Blade 25th anniversary tour. And she's just fucking rocking the fuck out. Cannibal Corpse is playing. And then my cousin and I are watching her, and these 2 giants, like these 2 fucking giant bulls, just like lock arms, run next to each other, put their heads down to run into the pit. And she was just in their way, and they just fucking, she was like, it'd be like hitting a fucking street light in a parking lot, you know what I mean? It's just the one thing you could hit was her, and they fucking charged, took her into the pit, and we didn't see her again for the rest of like she vanished. She got pink misted, bro. Like she
Just
was
gone.
gone. Yeah. Like did not see her again. She just vanished after that. I was like, we were like, damn. Holy shit. Yeah, that was a crazy one.
What was the Mayhem Fest where the dude like fell off the thing? It was like he like fell off the back of somewhere. Like who was talking about that? You know, like cracked his head open or like.
You say that and I vaguely remember something, but I don't really like it.
Oh, I don't remember then. Yeah, I
might
have been Preston then. I'm not sure.
I saw someone get fucked up at like beat the shit out of at Ozfest because he wouldn't stop hardcore dancing.
Yep.
Like
my favorite is watching
real
the
bad.
The people that when they're doing a big wall of death. I'm talking like the big ones, like the big, and like people are just kind of standing in the center, and all of a sudden like you see them just disappear.
Yeah,
like
gone. Pink mist.
Yeah,
dude, my first wall of death experience. So I like quick preface. I went to a Cradle of Filth and Arch Enemy show one year.
Shut up.
Yeah, that was height of my goth phase,
God.
and so
Arch Enemy's my white whale. So you saw Angela Gossip?
yeah,
Fucking
yeah, dude,
right.
she was that. During Arch Enemy, there was this dude that like, the only way I can describe it is like, you know how when a ballerina is doing the spins and she kicks her foot out to get the momentum and then brings it back in. Well, this guy was just doing that in the pit. And
you will get decimated.
so here I am thinking like, all right, young buck, I'm first, coming to this metal show. I've got makeup all over my face. I've got my 6-inch stompers on. Like, I'm going to go fuck this dude up. And I went to go do it, and I wasn't used to my boots, and I was kind of tripped, and his foot just swung and caught me and just broke 2 of my ribs, like, immediately. Like,
shit.
I toughed through it to watch Cradle, but then I got home, and it was just all, like, bruised up. My dad was like, what were you doing? Why didn't you say something? I'm like, I wasn't going to miss Cradle.
Where was this?
Harpo's.
I was literally picturing Harpo's as you were telling that story.
Yep.
That's insane.
The only place something like that could happen.
So, back to the Wall of Death bit. So, we're at Warped Tour one year. Killswitch is playing. And I had a thing for the longest time with re-breaking my rib in mosh pits. I would go in, I would go too hard, and I would fall down. And like they're sensitive. Like I can't really do pits because I'll re-break them. But if there's a band and there's something going on that's worth it, I'm like, I'm doing it. Like,
you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Something takes over you and forces you there.
Exactly. So we're walking out of Warped Tour, and Killswitch is starting to play, and all I hear is Howard do the Wall of Death, and I was like, dude, I've got to go do this. And my friend's like, you are in a lot of pain. Like, you really should. I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm going. So I just start, like, trucking through the crowd of people. And I, like, pushed through. And it was, like, in a movie where I, like, stumbled forward and realized there was no one else around me. And it hit me that I was standing right there. And I hear the and everyone just starts coming running. And I had to, like, look to both sides. And I looked to my right. There was a big, huge fat dude, had a little guy, like maybe 5 foot tall, on his shoulders, swinging his shirt around like it was a mace.
God.
And then there was just a bunch of capoeira, I guess, hardcore dancers coming from the other side. And I just had to make a choice. I'm like, I'm going with the big dude. So I ran at the capoeira dancers and just got demolished. Got dragged out of there by my friends being like, dude, you're done. We're going home. Like, yeah, well, that's probably a good idea.
Oh my God.
I just spit out a tooth that wasn't mine.
Yeah. Yep, that can happen.
There's nothing worse than like that fear that happens. Like as soon as you know, like all of a sudden you are in the center of the floor and you didn't decide to be there. Yeah. You're like, all right, well, I guess this is happening. Where you're like, you start moving up front from the back and stuff, and all of a sudden you're looking around and you're like,
Shadow Intent, Flesh God, Black Dahlia show.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was like a call, dude. As soon as lights went out and Dahlia was about to go on, like I don't even remember like tapping Aaron or Alex on the shoulder, like, "Hey, I'm going up." There were just 2 big dudes started like parting the crowd as they were walking. I'm like, "There's my ride.
Yep.
Gotta go."
Yep. Like it's not an explainable thing. Like when there are certain songs that come on or certain bands that are about to come on, it's just. There's no choice in the matter. It's just, this is happening now, and I'm going to be a part of it. Like, and I don't really have a choice. It's just, it's like they switch on a magnet, and you are the opposite magnet. Like,
oh, dude, shit. I mean, back to Knotfest, dude. That's like the whole day standing there. Had a couple beers, couple whiskey drinks, arms folded, watching Behemoth, Gojira, and then we, walked around for Volbeat. But dude, like the second Slipknot started, dude, it was like that switch flipped, and I was 14 years old again, and I'm just like, we almost pulled up that guardrail at one point.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Like,
and I'm not gonna lie, I've almost done the same thing to the same guardrail. Like,
they should probably fix that.
Yeah, they should. But it really is just a thing,
I was just gonna say there was one point where we were over there and I saw this big dude like stand over by there. Like I couldn't tell if he was trying to stop it or if he was trying to help.
Oh no, he was trying to help. That big dude. Like at one point I saw him trying to like actually grab it and lift up on it, and like I was just rocking out and watching the thing like wiggle, and then like everyone would start going in one motion with headbanging, like, oh, we're gonna tear this thing up. But then that dude's actually started trying to like lift it up and pull it off. So I took it upon myself to just like jump on it and stand on it and like, woo, like sticking my arms out. I'm like, please, dude, don't ruin this for us. There's security guards right there, and they're barely okay with what we're doing right now. Like,
So what was your first time at DTE? Was it for that Ozfest?
Yep, that was Ozfest.
So that would have been, that was said 2004. That would have been maybe 1 or 2 years before my first time at DTE. And the first time I ever went to DTE was for Sammy Hagar and the Cabo Wabos.
Yeah.
And not even gonna lie, the ending of Sammy Hagar's set, Kid Rock came out and they played a bunch of Led Zeppelin covers. I was like, damn.
All right. I guess I can't knock on that.
I think this is 2005 or 6. I can't remember. But yeah, man, fucking is Pine Knob a special place for you?
Only because like my first technical concert, the Garth Brooks 3 Doors Down one, was at Pine Knob.
Mm-hmm.
But like DTE was like, that's where I.
Well, I mean, it's the same place.
Yeah.
I still call it. I call it both. I go back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah. It's always been like, DTE to me, other than the one show, because that's where I've been named and like literally cut my teeth, and probably a few other spots on me falling on that horrible cement.
Yeah.
Or falling down that hill trying to, do the Wall of Death with Lamb of God.
Yep.
That was painful. That was a painful year, man.
Oh shit! What year? What was that? A Mayhem?
Yeah, that was Mayhem.
Okay.
Year.
Yeah, we were there.
Yep. Oh, dude, that was
for sure. That was a good one.
The last time they played, I got run into on the hill.
Oh, that was for Slayer.
What?
That was for Slayer. You got decimated. Yeah, you almost got pink misted like the girl I saw at Cannibal Corpse, dude. Your legs were fucking taken out from under you.
I was standing there watching them and stuff and kind of, headbanging and shit.
That.
And then all of a sudden, like, there's just I feel like there was like a car that hit me or something, because like I didn't see the guy.
Nope.
I just turned around, he was gone. But it was like somehow I was able to like stand up still and like save it.
You saved yourself. I don't know how. That was crazy.
Like by the end of it, I was like, man, I feel like I got like a concussion or something. Like
you
this
got
is
hit pretty hard.
And like we
it
were
was hard.
Yeah, we were like down by like the middle of the hill or whatever, and so he was like running pretty much down at me.
Oh no!
Like
full-fledged into the pit.
Yeah.
Classic.
So.
But I don't know. I fucking love DT. It's one of my favorite places, especially lately. Like, how many times have you been there in the last few, like 5-6 years? Like a bunch?
A handful.
Okay.
A handful.
So
not
then you saw then though that like at one of it wasn't the last Mayhem. It might have been the second to last Mayhem was the last one I went to. And the sound was shit.
Yeah.
It was really like I remember sitting there watching Lamb of God once, talking to my cousin at normal volume on the hill, and we could hear each other.
Oh.
I was like, "Where? This isn't loud at all. Like, what the fuck is this?" And and then it had been a few years since I'd been there, and then I went back. I don't remember for what, but last year for something, and I was like, "Holy fucking shit, this is back!
They finally
it's back!
Figured it out.
It's back! Like they fucking got a new sound system, new video monitors. Like it's pristine right now.
Yeah, I went
it's
to
fantastic.
I went to Uproar there. It was like Coheed, Circus Survive, I want to say it was like Jane's Addiction, and then was it Alice in Chains? They're the ones that had the new singer, right? Okay, the grunge band. Yeah.
I don't follow any of them.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
So like, but we went, and it was like when Circus Survive was playing. Like, yeah, we were sitting in the seats, and like, you couldn't hear any guitar. The vocals were like cranked out. Like it's like the sound guy didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Yeah. There's something.
And that was always a downside. Then this year, I mean, shit, I could hear Behemoth on the other side of the hill.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Clear as day. So.
Oh, that was it. Last year I saw Ozzy. Yeah. And yeah, it sounded fucking amazing.
Yeah, that was the first time I went back. Yeah, before it was like you were listening to like standing outside of somebody's car in the lot listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's accurate.
Yeah. Well, this sucks. Like, this isn't what I came here for. This,
They got it back for sure, though.
Yeah.
It's great right now.
Yeah.
It almost bums me out that Knotfest is the last show I'm going there this year. Because, God, I love that place.
Yeah.
There's something about, and it's only happened at select shows there, but there's something about, like, because there was one point during Slipknot's set about the middle of it, where I turned and I looked over, and there's just a sea of people.
Yeah.
And, like, there's something about that when it's just sold out that it's like,
oh,
fuck. Like,
yeah, dude.
This is awesome. It adds to the whole experience and stuff.
Yeah.
And you see, I don't know how many, I don't know how many people it fits, but like seeing all these people like jump up at the same time and just like, yeah.
And just even like, even the sing along parts when it's just, when it's so, everybody's doing it, so it's so loud in the crowd. It's,
I want to say 20,000.
Gives you goosebumps.
Yeah.
The capacity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Capacity.
Checking it right now.
Oh, are you? Nice.
Yep.
Good call.
15,274.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 15,000 people.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, both Slayer and Slipknot sold out. So that's the thing right now. There's a thirst for this stuff. Like so many big shows this year. Like even if they weren't, at a big venue, if it had a big package or whatever, the Hatebreed show at Harpo's sold out. Like the Devil Driver show at Harpo's sold out. Lots of these metal shows are selling the fuck out, and I think it's because there is no festival, and it's constant underrepresentation too. Like earlier, I'm fucking eating dinner, watching the news was on, the fucking news, and they were talking about how somebody replaced somebody as the new #1 single in the United States. What are they not talking about? The new #1 album.
Yep.
It's called We Are Not Your Fucking Kind. It's the first metal album to be #1 in the United States in like at least 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Not talking about that. We're talking about...
Not talking about the...
Fucking... I don't even know what they
fastest sold out show this year. Or for the... Like, Detroit sold out the fastest of all the Knotfest dates.
Fuck yeah, it did.
Like,
goddamn right.
Yeah. Like, I went and got my... Like, as soon as those tickets were available,
So do we.
I went to Julian, actually, my producer / landlord, and I was like, dude, like, just so you know, like, I'm going to be a little short on rent until, like, next week. It's like, why? I'm like, because I need these Slipknot things. He's like, oh, yeah, no.
Yep. No, that's priority. That's priority. I understand that.
Yeah, pretty much as soon as they did at, like, 10, I was like, yup, I'm on this because this is going to sell out real quick.
Yeah, sold out in, like, a day and a half, I think.
It's pretty close, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it's Behemoth and Gojira on the same.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Unpopular opinion here. So I've seen Gojira a few times, but I've never listened to their music outside of seeing them live. I've seen them on festivals and stuff.
no.
And so I never really, like, I couldn't have told you what they sounded like before seeing them last week with you guys. And when I saw them, I realized I recognized a handful of songs.
Yep.
These are not songs that I particularly care for. Not gonna lie.
Now, I'll back you up on that because there's a lot of Gojira that, like, I'm just not a fan of. Like, I'm down with it. I get it, but like, I'm not gonna like go out of my way to like add it to a playlist.
Yeah.
There are a few songs by them that, like, are kind of like we were talking about earlier. A song that you hear and you're like, oh shit, that's them. Like,
okay. Yeah. Yes. I definitely had that. I was like, I did not know this was Gojira. I didn't know Gojira was on the radio. I recognize some of these songs from the
Right.
radio.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Same kind of thing happened with like Mastodon.
Oh, yeah.
That I knew of Mastodon. I knew like Blood and Thunder. I will say Leviathan was my soundtrack just in the background because my old guitarist Knob told me to play Skyrim to it. So I would just put on Leviathan and just blast that. It was like between that and The Way of Vikings. I would just have those on like a loop playing Skyrim. So, but like Mastodon, like I went and saw them live this summer with Coheed.
Oh, okay.
And
Hell yeah.
they that was at the other amphitheater. What is it? Michigan Lottery
The
Amphitheater.
Formerly Sterling Heights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freedom Hill.
They Freedom Hill. Yeah, that's the one. I was like when we went and saw them live and they were playing because they did Crack the Sky and then their singles basically.
Yeah.
They had like a whole thing like monitors set up where they had this like animation playing.
Amon Amarth.
No, Mastodon.
Oh, Mastodon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they have a Crack the Sky. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry.
And
Oh, I didn't even think about
Yep.
that.
Yep.
yeah, right.
They both.
They both have a Crack the Sky in the same year.
Oh wait, they did. It was the same year too.
Yep.
Wasn't it? Holy shit.
Yep.
Good on them.
Oh, wait. Was Mastodon last year or this year?
No.
Crack the Sky was
Crack
the
the Sky
album.
was 2007.
Yeah.
Oh, the Mastodon album was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, why did I hear people talking about it like it just came out? That's weird.
Because they did it was the anniversary.
Yeah.
So maybe it wasn't 2000. Maybe it was 2005. It was
Oh, yeah, because Crack the Sky for Amon Amarth came out this year. And it's just a single. It's
yeah.
not an album.
Yeah. But like, hearing them, it was one of those like, oh wait, I heard that song on the radio, and like, oh, that song on the radio, and oh, that like, holy crap, like this does get a little more representation, but it's their definitely radio friendly songs, because then you go and listen to anything other than like the Motherlode, and it's down dirty psychedelic metal.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah. I've definitely had a lot more appreciation for them over the last couple of years. Especially, I really liked the last album a lot. That was cool.
It just
Sands,
surprises
Emperor of Sand or whatever.
It surprises me they've toured a few times with Lamb of God because they sound so different.
Yeah.
they actually kind of like Coheed. My roommate Jeff and I talk about this. They're one of those bands that it's kind of hard to put them on a tour. Because if they don't really fit into one genre the whole time.
No.
So Jeff, he's a huge Coheed fan. Talks about how he's seen them on shows with like heavier metal bands, like I think they did one with was it In This Moment they toured with a couple of bands that were like more strictly metal, and then other times they've toured with bands like Chiodos or like Underoath. They'll go with like the hardcore bands, and it's just kind of like, well, do you want to sell a third of the seats immediately? Like, we can stick Coheed on there. They can literally play at any point and it'll fit.
Yeah, no, honestly, like what, I agree. Like Coheed and Gojira, they are both similar in that way, where it's hard to fit them into anything, which is a good thing for a band in a lot of ways. But honestly, one of the best mixes I ever saw, and I thought it blended together like really, really well. It was a show, I talk about it from time to time on here, but my aunt once got my cousin and I tickets to a show for Christmas, and it was Chiodos opening for Coheed, opening for Linkin Park.
Oh.
And I thought that mix, I thought they all went together perfectly. I was like, this is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would actually be a hell of a package.
I was not particularly into any of those bands at the time, but seeing them all live was incredible. And actually, I've seen Chiodos. We have my cousin and I, who lives out in the Flint area. Him and I spent a lot of time together. We're really close. We started the podcast together and everything. And we have like a lot of the same groups of friends and stuff like that, especially out there. And one of our really close buddies out there is the little brother to the lead singer of the Chiodos.
Oh, shit.
So that's why my aunt got us those tickets, which is like, oh, I know the Chiodos. And so, but yet Linkin Park, especially, dude, live. I don't know if you ever saw them live.
Never got a chance.
The CDs they don't even make sense. Like how much heavier they were live. Like every guitar part was 11, like like as heavy as those guitars could be, they were making them live.
Nice.
Like it was fucking like during, and especially they did whenever they did What I've Done, it blew me away. But yeah, no, they were unbelievable live for a band that I was into as like a little kid before I got into heavy metal, and then seeing them later live, they really impressed me. Yeah, I'll always remember how good they were that night.
It's funny you bring up the weird sets and stuff with Coheed, like the tour packages and stuff, because that was the first show. It was Slipknot, Trivium, and Coheed.
Yeah. Oh no shit! That was your first show.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So, you told me that.
That's a hell of a show,
right? For the first, and it was at
wasn't that the Palace?
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is no longer around, unfortunately. But I mean, I don't know. I guess it makes sense.
Unfortunately, is right.
Yeah.
God, I miss that place.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was like one of the first times that I ever, and like it was weird because Trivium played first, and then it was Coheed, and then it was Slipknot.
Oh,
just like
I'll give you a nice little break, you know.
Yeah. So it was a cool mix and stuff, and like I knew about Coheed because I heard I mean by this time I think whatever Welcome Home was on that album.
Good Apollo 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was a big fan of that album. I still am. I think it's one of the best like of all time, really. Just in terms of like music and in terms of like concept records and stuff, and so I was pretty excited about it. But like they definitely fit in a weird spot on any bill.
Mm-hmm.
But it does make sense that they toured with Mastodon and stuff. I feel like I was actually kind of bummed I missed that because that would probably
that was a dope show.
Yeah.
I think both Mastodon and Linkin Park make a lot of sense for them, like that kind of. Even I think they could. Nah, never mind. I was gonna say maybe they could even fit with Gojira, but not really.
Now, see, like if you had like a Mastodon Gojira tour, like those two guys together,
that would fit.
That would be somewhere, you go and rent one of the chairs at DTE and just shroom out and just watch that for 6 hours.
Yeah, that would work perfectly, actually.
I'm just saying, you gotta check out The Way of All Flesh, which is the Gojira album. And the last album they put out wasn't. I mean, it was good, but it was just different. They're pretty experimental and stuff. But their last three have been sick. But especially The Way of All Flesh.
Okay.
The album is so heavy.
So both of you then, what year was that?
What?
Your first show.
Oh God, 2009.
All right. And what year did you? You said Slipknot was on that first Ozfest you saw.
Yeah, for Volume.
So 2004.
Yeah.
Damn, it came out. Volume 3 came out in 2004.
2004, 2005, right?
Well, 2005 was the Iron Maiden Ozfest.
It was
okay. So then it was before that. So it would have been.
It was the same year Ashes came out. I think it was 2005, wasn't it?
Ashes came out 2005. Yeah.
I'll double check this.
But I thought for some reason Volume 3 came out like when I was in high school. Like
2004. Yeah.
2004.
Yep, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense. All right. Wow, that's crazy to me. Okay, so 2004, and you said, sorry, what, 09?
Yeah, 09 or 08, whichever was the All Hope Is Gone tour. I think it was 08.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 years apart.
Yeah.
About okay. So and you guys have seen them consistently on things like Mayhem Fest and tour and album tours since then. Obviously, they're both. I think. As far as I can tell, they're both of your favorite bands, probably.
Yeah, I mean that's it for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, out of all the times, then, how does this Knotfest Roadshow compare in terms of their live performance, everything you felt about it, with the new songs, all that?
That's kind of tough, honestly, because like I said, that 04 when they were. When I was right up there and right in front of them and they're playing on like the trailer stage, that was a different kind of show as to like seeing them with Joey's set that goes up or went up and did the circles and like pyrotechnics and light shows and stuff. But I'd say like in terms of their big showmanship, like this one had to be their best. If only one they had a night where they played an hour and a half. I think
it was at least.
Yeah, it was like they started
very
at
long set.
9:15 to like 11. I think they played.
Yeah. So it was like an hour 45. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
So it was definitely one of the longest sets I've seen them play.
Got our fucking money's worth. That's for goddamn sure.
Oh, damn Skippy. So if comparatively, like comparing to their bigger shows that I've seen them on, yeah, this was definitely the best, the most intricate stage show. I mean, they had that light rigging that, you know, would change. They had that spooky like green and purple when they did Vermilion, that went to like the red and white and the huge what do you call them, the big bangs, the cannon shots when they started, what was that, Heretic Anthem.
Yep.
Like they kind of like paid a little bit of homage to every, like when they would do a song from an album, the stage lighting kind of matched the like the feel or the look of their time when they played that album. Like they had like the red and white that looked like their old jumpsuits from Iowa. When they played songs from Iowa, when they played Sick, the stage was like lit up orange and their white jumpsuits kind of reflected that orange light, and it was like old Slipknot look.
God.
Like, yeah, that's
holy shit! What an observation.
Yeah, that's what got me with this stage show, is that they were able to recreate like.
That's why they picked white.
Yep. Oh well. Actually, I didn't actually put that together until yeah.
That's why they picked white, so they could be all of them.
Yeah.
Oh
I didn't
my
think about that either until we started talking about it.
Oh my god. Oh, that is so sick. Genius.
Those dudes, they know how to put on their shows, man.
Genius. Oh my god. Yeah, that's something, you know, as someone who's only really, I think I've only ever, the first time this is the first, well, no, this is a Knotfest Roadshow, so I guess technically still I haven't seen them on an album cycle. I've only ever seen them on Mayhem Fest and this.
I mean, this was like, to me, the last show was definitely like more of like a greatest hits kind of run, like a We're Back kind of run.
This
to me,
the Knotfest,
yeah, the
okay.
Roadshow, yeah. I feel like it was more of like a, like a big, I don't want to say celebration, I guess, but it kind of was.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be too far to say celebration, because the one thing that Corey always talks about on stage is like he really gives it to the audience and get like the people that are there, like that, like it's much as it's them, it's us too. Like,
yeah, he really did have double knee surgery like just a few months ago at the beginning of the summer. Like it is seriously, and now he's out there fucking touring. Like that's no joke. Like they really do. Man, that white thing is still blowing me away. Holy shit! I didn't even pick up on that, but now that you see it,
what a stage show too. Like the whole setup, all the screens and stuff, and the different like visuals and things. The
fact, that's what I was gonna say, is that they were some of my favorite things. One thing that was my favorite, and one thing that I thought was weird. One thing that I thought was my favorite though was the screens on the drums, on the sides. The the percussionists on the sides, how their actual like the lining of their drum was a fucking screen that was changing with everything else, was incredible. And then that weird. There was that weird thing up on the top right.
You're going to bring up the treadmill, aren't you?
Yeah, whatever that was. The treadmill thing. I was like, what? Is that real?
Yep,
okay, that is. All right.
Sid apparently wanted to pop and lock this tour.
A little bit. And he did.
I mean, Sid's always been the one that, like, because he does the DJ parts. It's usually, I'll say 3 or 4 songs each tour I've seen him on that he's behind the turntables and he's actually doing stuff. But then the other times he's going around, he's usually like fucking around with Clown or with
hype
Chris
man,
or something.
basically.
Yeah, he runs around and does stuff. Usually jumps off stuff. What was it, like 8-9 years ago? He jumped off something like Chicago, jumped off one of the speaker things and broke his feet.
Ooh.
And then had to be
shattered both his ankles.
Yeah, did the rest of the tour in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But they this time I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the room when Slipknot's like sitting down with Roadrunner or like whoever's funding this tour package, and they're like, okay, well, here's the light show we've got playing. Like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah, we're gonna do white, so it like reflects it, so we can. Oh, okay, I like that. Yeah, okay. Then we actually need to install a treadmill on the 3rd level up on the right side, so that Sid can pop and lock.
What?
Yeah, okay. He's not going to be setting Clown on fire anymore, right? Oh, no, we're not going to do that anymore. Okay,
he's not going to jump off anything, right? No, okay. No, he can moonwalk all the fuck he wants then. Yeah, that was weird to me at first. I was like, all right, it's kind of cool. Like, I
think
get it.
I like the way Alex put it when he said that. He's like, so who's the guy that keeps walking around on stage that looks like a red mage that just discovered how to pop and lock? I was like, that's fucking spot on.
Yeah. It was something creepy about that. Like, the more I look at it, the more his mask is like.
I gotta say, his mask is the one that freaks me out the most. I do not like his mask.
Yeah,
it's the like moving the mouth and shit.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
The way that he was like behind Corey at certain points, like.
Oh yeah.
Doing these weird, like, just kind of behind everybody, and like, I don't know.
And he did go behind the turntables.
Yeah.
A bit, for a few songs.
Not for Eyeless. So wait, did they play Eyeless? I don't think they did.
No,
I
they didn't.
don't think so.
That's that's the one song on the set list that I think it's usually. I mean, they always end with Surfacing.
Always.
And then they didn't play Blister Exists either. A lot of stuff off Volume 3.
Actually, no, I don't think they did. They did Before I Forget.
Yeah.
And Vermilion.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah.
Like, anytime they play that song or hear it live, it's a whole other.
It's hearing it and seeing it live, seeing them perform it, because like the other guys in the band, like really like, what's the best way? Like kind of like cut loose a little more. Like Sean does his really weird like twitchy like movements, like kind of like slow robotic stuff while he's up on the kit. Like usually, and that's the cool thing about being in the pit, he'll like lock eyes with one person and like. You can just see him staring one person down the whole time while doing this stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's their set list. We got People Equal Shit, Sick, Get This, Unsainted, Before I Forget, Solway Firth, Heretic Anthem, Psychosocial, The Devil and I, Prosthetics, Vermilion, Custer, Sulfur, All Out Life, Duality, and the encore is Spit It Out and Surfacing.
That's right. Yeah.
Was it an encore though? Because I feel like they just went right into those.
It was there was like a little. It was like a moment for. No, I think there was a little bit. Maybe no, not really though. Yeah.
There wasn't really like a whole lot of time.
No, not really at all.
I mean, they finished their set. Like I remember checking my phone. It was like 10:59 when they were done. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's 17 song set list. It's huge. And there's they did there's a lot they did.
I'm sure a lot of that probably has to do with the fact that the crowd was just a little too hype and we couldn't quite get into the beginning of Custer like Corey wanted us to.
Yeah. That's
I was like, dude, like just we're not gonna be able to do that.
Yeah.
You can't get
That's a Europe
thing. You can't get 15,274 people to fall in line and like stick with the timing. Like it's a little tougher than you'd think.
Plus, there's always, even with like clapping and stuff, like singing, there was always an echo.
Yeah.
So it's never like exact how it should be. It's always.
Well, did you notice they were using the lights to try to time for Custer? Like did the
yeah,
and then like they keep the lights going. It's like the crowd couldn't do it. And then he's like, all right, screw it, try it like this. Like just went and started the song. It's like, thank you.
That's one of those that like first time I heard it, it hit my ear kind of weird, and like it still is kind of an odd song, but like even once it gets going, like after that first initial verse,
Stark Alive, Freak of Alive, like
it's just goofy to me. Like if you're gonna like just play the recording of it and then just have him go into it.
Yeah,
like that's
pretty much.
But like even like just that, there's something about like the way that the guitar comes in on the second verse of it and stuff, and just kind of like drives it and like that's really cool. I like that. Probably, I mean, I don't know, even like hearing it live and stuff, but like I think between that and like Before I Forget, I could kind of do without now after all this time.
Whenever they had the fire and Before I Forget, that was sick.
Yeah.
And then at one point he's like, Michigan before I I was like, yeah. I actually caught that on camera.
Nice.
I don't know, I'm just kind of tired of hearing that song. Like
yeah.
I like that song.
I'm still surprised that I'm thinking that like Eyeless, that's
they didn't even hang on. Wait, what's the so Duality's the Fingers and Eyes.
Yep.
Fuck, they didn't play fucking God damn it, I just had the name of it in my head, now it's gone. It's off the first album, Wait and Bleed. They didn't play Wait and Bleed.
Shit.
Huh.
That's just
That's the song I've been into this past year. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I feel the heat rise up in me. Fucking love that song.
I like The Devil and I a lot more live.
Live,
Yeah.
that song is rips live, dude. Holy shit.
Well, the thing is, because they've got right before it goes into that last chorus on the album version. There's that like half-second pause, but when they did it live, they had that like 30 seconds where like I was sitting there waiting. I'm like, no, come on, there's one more. And like everyone's looking at each other like, oh, do it. And then the lights come back up and it just smacked right in. It was like, yes.
Oh, yes. No, that's so. No. You got to answer the question now. Like, compare that most recent show to all the others.
Well, I'll say they're all pretty significant to me for a couple of reasons. I'm sure you probably had the same response. Because the first one, I mean, it was the first. Well, I guess like I'd been to shows before that, but that was the first major like big, heavy show I ever wanted to go to and stuff, and so that was significant. And it was also like the only time I ever got to see him as the full original lineup with Joey and with Paul and everything, and yeah, so that was cool. And then so after that it was Mayhem Fest. It was for Volume 5, and that was the first tour back like after all this stuff had happened and stuff, and it was just cool to see him back because I think it was a good like, I don't know, like 5 years between the two and stuff, and it was before
time.
Yeah,
this album they actually took more time than any other album.
This album was 5 years between releases.
So I'll say like this one felt as close to like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I might have said something like this to you, but like it was as close to like I felt like there were certain points where I was watching Disaster Pieces.
Yeah.
Like it was that kind of intensity. Yeah.
Production.
Yeah. And just like it sounded really good, and it was just, I don't know, like I just think overall it was probably one of the better times I'd seen them, because before like it was cool. I mean, it always seems like it's significant whenever they come back. Whenever I see them, like it's always that like, they've been gone for 5 years or
it's like a
long.
triumphant return.
Yeah, and it's bigger every time. That's like one of the only times I'd ever seen that from any band, other than like, like the big
that's true.
Titans, like Iron Maiden and stuff, and like
But even then, when they come back, when Iron Maiden comes with a new album, it's big. It hits number 1 in a lot of places, but it seems like Slipknot has kind of a different kind of draw to it, like, because it's probably just because they have fewer albums. You know what I mean? Like, no one thinks Iron Maiden's gonna make another number of the Beast, but Slipknot still might make something that can compare to Iowa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it was, I don't know, like it sounded the best out of everything. There was a couple of songs that I would have really liked to see live, like
like Wait in the Lead. Come on,
that one, or like a lot of you say a lot of like the first album stuff.
A lot of the first album or Volume 3.
Well, actually, because I'm looking now, because we got Sick, we've got Get This, which that's another song that was the first time I've seen them play this.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was a bonus track on the first album.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh wow.
That didn't even make the original album at first.
Oh wow.
That was like
That's crazy, actually. Holy shit.
So it's what, 1, 2. Yeah, they played 2 songs.
Well, actually, here, no. If you scroll down, that's one of the best things about this page. If you scroll down here.
Oh shit! There we go. So
first album, 5 songs. Volume 3, 3 songs. Gray Chapter, 2 songs. Hope Is Gone, 2 songs. Iowa, 2 songs. We Are Not Your Kind, 2 songs, and Others 1, which is probably the Get This.
Get This, yeah. It's probably.
So yeah, I love this page.
That is cool. What page?
Setlist FM. If you just
FM.
Anybody that's ever on tour, just search their set list. It's the first website that pops up.
Nice.
It's a good
and
way
it has a set list for every venue.
I'm gonna have to.
It's a good way to spoil any show you're going to ever.
Yes, well, usually I do. Usually I'll check a set list before I go to a show, but this one I didn't, because I was like, I want them to surprise me. Like I said, when prosthetics, that fucking first like, I was like. Well, I looked over at Brian, Brian, who was there with us. That was the singer for Betray the Prophet.
Yeah, oddly, you weren't there when I said this, but I actually know him from back in the day.
Oh, no shit.
Like, him and I used to hang out back in, like, 2008 and 9 and shit.
No shit, nice.
Swear to God.
But, like, him and I both looked at each other like, dude, is this really happening?
I would have really liked to hear Purity. I don't feel like that song gets enough.
Dude, I feel like they haven't played that in
It's
a
been
while.
Yeah, I don't even remember if they played it on the last tour I saw them on.
I think I saw them. It was.
Maybe they did. I don't know.
It was the one at Van Andel they did. They did Purity, because I do remember now because Sid had the gas mask that looked like the skull. It had the mouth in the front at the time.
Yeah.
And he came and sat on a platform that was like rotating or like going above the audience, like moving the mouth of the mask to like him singing it and like sitting on the edge of the platform and like leaning off. It was, yeah.
Damn.
They always put on such a damn good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with 9 people to watch at any given time, there's always something to. Somebody's always doing something.
Yeah, there was a couple different times during the set that, like, when I wasn't like thrashing about, like I was being electrocuted, that I would look up and like at one point it was like when they started Duality and Clown came out, because that's the big Keg song that everyone knows, like dun 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 tonk, and he came out with the flaming bat. Yeah, I was just holding it up. I was like, yeah. Okay, and then the song started. I didn't see anything that happened because I was just headbanging the whole time. But
yeah,
and that's another thing. Like that, like for Corey may have had his double knee surgery, but Clown just lost a daughter.
Yeah, man.
And fuck, like
that.
Fuck.
That dude has dealt with a lot of that during this band. Like,
yeah,
this being the worst that he could have dealt with.
Yeah, and he's still out there. Like that is another. Love or hate Slipknot, you have to respect that. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, that's something I've always, I've said it a bunch of times before, but like you really get a scope for like how significant it is when one of the main like founding members of any band like dies or whatever, and it sets things into a weird kind of space, and you start feeling like either may never see him again, or it's like the last time you did was the last time and stuff. And like for them to, I said it on our album review or whatever, but like, for them to still be around after like 25 years.
25 years, the death of a founding member, the death of a founding member's kid.
Yeah.
Departure of.
Isn't Clown the last technical founding member?
Craig, right?
I thought it was
Craig was originally the guitarist.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Like for Mate Feed Kill Repeat, and then they brought on Mick, and then Corey brought Jim in, and they were like, so the guitar spots are filled. And Craig was like, cool. What do I do? I don't know. Like,
wasn't one of the founding members Chris Fenn too, who just?
No, I'm pretty sure he came in around like during the recording of
the self-title.
The self-title.
Oh, okay.
Same with Jim. Actually, I'm pretty sure Jim doesn't have any actual parts on self-titled, if I'm not mistaken. Like, he doesn't actually have any like recording parts. He came on after it was all recorded.
Yeah.
Jim Root?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
But yeah, like during the recording process is when of the self-titles when Slipknot became Slipknot, like the Slipknot that everyone knew for 15 years.
But yeah, like, having said that and like knowing what's all happened to him and stuff, and to be able for them to not only put out like what is it, like the third #1 album of their career, but at this point to to put out something that like even like surprises me, or like someone that's been listening to it for a long time, and like still like that's what excites me the most about him. I think that's probably why this show is like definitely more up there than the last couple, just because it was so significant to me, and just the whole situation and stuff. It was just cool to see him again, and
Yeah, and musically speaking, I really think they took a giant step fucking like forward. Like it's a genuine evolution, but it's like a continuation of their sound, and it's like, I don't know. It seems like, because there's always gonna be those fucking those fucking twat waffles out there who fucking, I want another Ashes of the Wake, or I want another Iowa, or I want another Number of the Beast, or another Back in Black, or whatever. You're never going to get it. And the reality is you don't want it, because if they gave it to you, you just go, oh, this is the same as Back in the Black, or Number of the Beast, or Iowa, or Ashes of the Wake. You know what I mean? Like that. At the end of the day, what you want is a genuine evolution. something that is a continuation of that sound but still captures all the things you love about it. And I think that's what this album does in a really great way. It captures all the things you love about Slipknot while evolving on all of those things and expanding it and showing their crazy range and reach. They got so many more tools in the toolbox now from when they started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The production on this album is unbelievable. You can hear everything perfectly. But I want to hear you two real quick talk about fucking Spiders, because it's such a weird fucking song.
It is.
And both of you love it so much. And I'm not saying I don't I don't not like it at all. But right now, to me, it's just the weird song on the album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it kind of is. And it's the same way that I guess you could say, like, Prosthetics was the weird song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or, like, I mean, they've had, it's, yeah.
Every album has one or two.
Yeah.
Like, that it's the song that was just like, whoa, like, where were you going with this? Like, this is this is something else. I think Kerry King, but when Iowa came out, said that, like, every album of theirs sounds like the soundtrack of a person in an insane asylum's mind. Like,
that came from Kerry King.
Yeah.
That I would have stopped. Yeah. I wouldn't have even made another record
that was,
after.
Yeah,
Kerry King said that about... done. We're done. We've reached the highest peak.
Pack it in. We can go, guys. But Spiders, man, just, like, there's something... I think one of the things that, like, really adds onto it is the noise track, the filler track that comes before it.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of got that, like, almost like waiting room feel, I guess.
Yes. Like nursery rhyme sound, waiting room.
Yeah, and I think it's
elevator.
That's the one it's called. What's next, right?
Yep. Oh, what's next? Straight up sounds like a grocery store.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm in
I think. Hold on, I might be wrong.
An aisle in a grocery store.
Yeah, it's what next. Yeah, it's got that like.
What's next? Yeah.
Like
it's right before Spiders.
When I first heard it, I was like, dude, like this is what the waiting room in your head while you're going insane sounds like, and then it kicks into that like and it's got that weird like piano riff behind it that like I don't think I've ever heard them use before. Like just a straight up like
never
piano.
Heard that.
Very Halloween-esque.
And
yes. Sounded like Halloween. The Halloween theme to me.
But the whole song, the way like the lyrics work and like all the sounds, like one thing with this whole album is they really I feel like they let Craig and Sid loose.
Yeah.
Like the sampling that they did of like the voices like whispering in the back, it's spiders, like happening in the background, mixed with just like the punchiness of the kick drum hitting with the bass at the same time, and then the dual vocals from Corey, the spiders, where the spiders come marching night by night, 2 by 2, and line by line,
side by side,
yeah.
Yeah, that is so catchy.
Like I don't know, the song, I guess like the best way to describe it would be like sleep paralysis. If I had to describe what waking up with sleep paralysis felt like, that's it right there.
You do that too?
I haven't since I was a kid, but like I remember this.
Last couple of times we've been talking about that.
Fucking the last episode, fucking Chase brought up the fact that every time apparently he sleeps on his stomach or his back or something.
Yeah.
Every time he sleeps on one of those, he gets sleep paralysis. And one time he hallucinated that someone like broke into his house with a shotgun. And fucking, he was just like curled up on the couch for hours because he thought someone was in the house with a shotgun, and it was just a hallucination.
Dude, and right to that is exactly like this song. You can imagine like it goes from that weird like DJ the what are you saying, the spiders, and it's like there's kind of the musical break.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
the
Corey
middle
goes
of it.
into that like nursery rhyme like. Make yourself a merry bed and watch them all escape. That's like,
yes,
it's just so fucking creepy. Like, I don't know, man. It's like conceptually, I feel like that's the best weird Slipknot song that they've done yet.
Hell yeah.
It's like I didn't. I mean, there's a couple moments on it where I didn't even remember that they were capable of doing stuff like that, because the last album. Not only did it not have any like real like drum breaks like they usually have, like the last album to do that was All Hope Is Gone.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I mean they have the extra percussion stuff, but it wasn't like a break, which they did twice on this album, which was exciting to me.
Yeah, oh, that death because of death
Yeah.
drum.
Well,
bit.
there's that, and then there's a part in Orphans towards the end of it.
Yeah.
And then there's, I mean, I guess
There's one on, I think, Neo Forte.
yeah.
Well, they had the Neo Forte was their snare drum song.
Yeah.
This
But
album.
outside of Spiders, no guitar solos.
I mean,
Spiders is the only one with a guitar solo, even according to Jim Root.
Yeah.
oh, because I mean,
But he said what he said about it was I read an interview with him and he was like a track by track he was breaking down all the songs, and when it got to Spiders, he's like, honestly, this was the only one with a guitar solo, and we didn't even think about it till after the fact. Like, it just wasn't like it wasn't a conscious decision. We just like made the album and this is how it came out. Like, I wasn't, at no point was anybody like, oh, I don't have a solo, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it just, this was the flow of this one.
I kind of felt like Not Long for This World had a solo in it too, towards the middle of it.
I don't know.
Could be wrong, but yeah, either way, no, like that was, I mean, just the unsettlingness of it, the fact that like it had like a Vermilion feel to it,
Yeah.
was cool to me, and just I don't know, like they do the weird thing so well.
Yeah.
Like that's like why I listen to like their full albums and stuff, is to get that feeling, and that's why My Pain was so much of a like crazy mindfuck to me, because it just, for one, it doesn't sound like anything else I've ever done, but also it's like there's something really like eerie about it, and like unsettling and stuff, and
It's because it's like, even though it's like produced and all that stuff, it still feels kind of raw.
yeah,
Like raw emotion in that song.
yeah.
Even with that I knew what the name was because I looked it up, because it sounded like something from Final Fantasy. But the do 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 thing, like parts in it, like
Yeah.
and that weird like pulsing bit, like when you listen to the song with headphones, especially.
Yeah.
You get it's like a weird like brain shiatsu almost
Yeah.
feel coming out of it.
Well, that was one of those where I said it sounds like depression.
Yeah. No,
Like,
that's right. Yeah, you
yeah.
messaged me that. I was like, holy shit, that's actually spot on.
Yeah, like that. Just the how it comes in, like the weird, like kind of like what you're talking about, like the effects and stuff in the beginning of it, and then there's that weird like piano bit that like just kind of like crawls in your head a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, like it's things like that I really enjoyed about this one, more so than the last couple, because I feel like it was lacking a little bit in that. As far as like the the effects and the different kind of like soundscapes and things. So
Yeah. Volume 5. That like I love Volume 5, especially them like coming back from like losing Paul.
Yeah.
And you could definitely like lyrically, like Corey was a lot angrier during that album.
Yeah.
The what was the song? Rain, I think. If rain is what you want,
Yeah.
all you have to do is close your eyes.
Yeah.
That one, yeah. You could just hear that, like, that hurt at, like, losing his friend, and, like, then, like, whatever, we may never know what truly happened with Joey, and what went down with that, but, like, you could hear the, like, anger, like, again.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite the same levels of, Iowa anger. And again, it never will be. And hopefully it never will be, because those guys were in dark places during that time.
Yeah.
But, Volume 5 definitely it was a lot more, like we said, like a, song collection of anger than it was conceptually, like, a complete idea, like Volume 3 was.
Yeah. Well, I think with that, it comes with having, pretty much your core like rhythm section completely like redone, and like and you can hear that a lot on the. I mean, there is a lot of really solid drum stuff on Volume 5, and as far like rhythm stuff or whatever. But I feel like they kind of added more to it on this one, which was cool.
Yeah.
That was why like the first time I heard Birth of the Cruel, I was like, fuck yeah, like this is awesome. Like the way that it kind of like, I don't know, it just like keeps going and stuff. It's got that nice like pounding kind of like stomp to it throughout the whole thing, and it just, I don't know, it's just cool to me, and I feel like a lot of that was missing on the last one.
It's a great song.
I mean,
like that
a lot of good keg work on this album.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that you don't get to say about any other band.
That's true.
Like, oh man, they use the keg in ways that like I never would have thought of, and every time you think that like, okay, they've done it. That's the best keg, and then that fucking dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun dun. Like,
Well, never mind.
there's like, what are they calling him online? Tortilla Man.
Yeah.
Man.
That dude came out
The
and just
mystery
threw down.
number.
I want like, I feel like it's gotta be like someone from the old Slipknot
Someone
days.
Clown. It was either Clown or Jim. Somebody in an interview in the last day, like today or yesterday, said that gave like a clue about it or whatever, and said that they are like a world-class pianist apparently. And that's what they said about him. They're really. It was Clown. I'm really excited to have him in the band. He's a world-class pianist.
Hence the probably in Spiders there. No,
Well,
because that was written.
no, yeah, he
that's
wouldn't have
never mind,
written it.
yeah.
I want to like. I mean,
Not having that like little bit of information. Now I need to go back to like my Charlie Wall
yeah.
and like, okay, did Anders play piano at any time?
Yeah, I had that thought. Either that him or Joey. I thought
If
maybe,
dude, if it was. All right, you're back in the band, but you don't get your old mask. Oh, but you get to hit the keg now. Oh,
Okay.
all right. I remember one of the things with Joey was it MS that he was dealing with? It was some kind of spinal
Yeah.
deterioration that like he couldn't play as fast anymore. Like he couldn't keep up with the touring. He said that during like their last tour he had to literally be carried off like towards the end of it. Like
It's terrible.
so I'm wondering, I could, if it was Joey, dude.
Right?
One that would make my thing, because like I learned drums by getting the Disaster Piece DVD, and they had the thing where you could focus on one member of the band for, I think it was Left Behind.
Yeah.
Like it was like 9 different camera angles, and I set my TV up in front of my drum set that I found on the side of the road. I had like a hi-hat and a crash cymbal and a tom as my snare drum. I bought a double bass pedal online and then just tried to copy his movements. Like that's how I taught myself. Like I never learned like theory or anything like that. I was like, I want to do what Joey Jordison does. So then years later, they're like, Joey Jordison's not part of Slipknot anymore. I was like, what?
Yeah, that was a shock to me.
That's
too.
jarring, man.
Yeah. And then and maybe that might have been why I didn't really give Volume 5 quite the love it deserved, because that was the first one that
Without him.
yeah. And I was like, and it's the same, like it was kind of like with Black Dahlia Murder.
Yeah.
When Death Rate came out, and when Nocturnal before that, it was all Shannon Lucas.
Yeah.
And then he left, and then, no discredit to Alan because he's sick, but like that was kind of one of those things that's like it has a whole different feel to it. And so you're trying to kind of like hear it, kind of objectively and kind of like, not biased so much based on kind of like who you're used to hearing and stuff. And, sometimes you're just kind of like, man, like I miss that, like, or, that kind of thing.
Well, that being said, like with other bands, when the members replaced, you can definitely hear like the change in style. But with Slipknot, like Slipknot's got their sound, like what's his name? Jay
Weinberg.
Yeah. Jay Weinberg, yeah. He came in and started playing Slipknot drums. Like he has his style, but like what he does for Slipknot is Slipknot drums, like the same, crazy fast slow bass, the lighter blasting that like I first noticed in like Volume 3 when Slipknot blasts, it's not like a in your face, like you can hear nothing but snare drum, like it blends in a little better. But yeah, Jay Weinberg like came in, like anyone that comes into Slipknot comes in to play Slipknot music. Like they don't bring they're not bringing your own style in. Like you're putting on the mask and you're going out there and you're playing like a Slipknot bass riff. Whereas like other bands, you're like, all right, I'm bringing my tone and I'm bringing my style, like, and we'll make this work between the two. And you can definitely hear, and that definitely helps with Dahlia especially. Like they always say, like, a member change usually means the band's gonna evolve and get a little better.
Yeah.
And but it's because someone else brings something else to the band. With Slipknot, it's just like there's Slipknot sound, and it's constantly changing and growing and evolving, but it grows as Slipknot because it's Slipknot.
Yeah.
Like when Jay came in place of Joey, like I thought for the longest time that Volume 5 was recorded by Joey and then he left and Jay came in to do it. Like I could have swore by listening to the way the drums sounded that it sounded like Joey, and then now hearing this album, like, okay, no, that's just Slipknot's drum sound.
Yeah.
Probably because he's got Clown sitting there going, no, do this. Do this. You don't say no to the Clown.
No. Definitely not.
What was... I don't know. I had something I was going to add to that. I can't remember for the life of me what it was.
You know, it's
Keep
weird.
going.
Because, like, for me, in terms of the show, for me, like, I have, like, two favorite, like, probably, if I had to put a band on the same level as Slipknot in terms of my favorite band to you guys, I'd probably say it's Iron Maiden. And the first time I ever saw them was on the floor at the Palace. No seats, general admission. And it was fucking chaos. And it was amazing. So, like, sentimentally, it's definitely my favorite time that I ever saw them. However, it was the Matter of Life and Death tour, and they played that album top to bottom. And then the encore was 2 Minutes to Midnight, Iron Maiden. Fuck. And, like, there were two other songs in the encore. Fear of the Dark was one of them. Shit, and I can't remember the other one. But my point is, obviously, that is not my ideal set list for the first time ever seeing Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Even though I love A Matter of Life and Death.
You want to hear the gold? The hits.
Yeah. So, but in terms of overall stage show and set list, the best time I probably ever saw them, up to this point at least, was probably 2008 at the Allstate Arena just outside of Chicago on the Somewhere Back in Time tour. That was insane. That, like, the stage show, the set list was incredible, but we had nosebleeds, so we weren't up close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's always, like you with Slipknot, you haven't seen them on the main floor yet.
Yeah.
I have seen Maiden on the main floor, but not for the set that I would love to see them on the main floor for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I have kind of those two favorites at the same time. So, like, I almost feel like for you, like, that might be seeing them on the second stage at Ozfest.
Yep.
It's probably the smallest stage you ever saw them on.
Oh yeah, probably the smallest stage I'll ever see
at this point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that must have been another. God damn it.
And that was when Volume 3, like, they'd done the Volume 3, or they hadn't done the Volume 3 tour yet, so they were. It was was it Pulse of the Maggots and Blister Exists were the only Volume 3 songs. Other than that, it was Iowa and self-titled tracks.
Yeah,
like,
so you saw, like, the best set list you could have
like,
possibly seen.
Yeah, like the whole, like, you know, the first, like, 6 from the main album, from the first album, and then, you know, like, your Heretic Anthem, My Plague, like, all that stuff, like, stuff that I haven't seen on their set list in a couple, probably 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of stuff of them doing. And that's why, like, I think, they played it this time, right? Nope. My Plague.
Nope. Oh, no, that wasn't on there either.
Nope, that's one of those ones that, like, getting to see that song when they play that live, that's a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Those dudes go wild during that song.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, no, it's a crazy year for metal now.
One of the things I was going to say, I actually remembered when you were talking, was, like, as far as, like, replacing Joey and the whole, like, you know, with Jay, like, his, I don't know if either of you guys know his, like, whole story, like how he, like, joined the band and stuff. So basically, like, his dad was, I don't remember who he played with, but basically his dad was a drummer and who, like, toured with, like, played with a bunch of people, and he's pretty, like, famous and stuff, and, like, people knew him and stuff, so that's kind of how he got into it. And I guess, like, there's a picture around where it's him and his dad, and I think he's like 10, and he's wearing Corey's old Iowa mask, he's staying right next to him. You've probably seen it. He's talking to Clown or whatever. And so like that was his favorite band growing up and stuff. And like I guess around the time when they were looking for a new drummer, I think there's a whole interview on it on YouTube somewhere. But he was saying how nobody told him who he was going to like audition for. They were like, all right, we'll just set, you want to play drums for this one band? And they were like, yeah. He's like, all right, well, you meet here or whatever. And he showed up, and it was Slipknot, and he was like, holy shit, like, he's like, all right, well, and so I guess they like played a couple of songs, and then they kind of offered him the spot or whatever.
Oh,
so
Christ.
Yeah, so I was like, man,
Can't imagine that pants shitting terror.
Yeah. Like playing your favorite songs with your favorite band, like dude. Ever.
I mean, that's a kind of full circle thing. You remember, was it 2005, I think, when Joey played for Metallica?
Yeah.
For I think it was Download Fest or one of those big festivals over in Europe. And he was like, yeah, like when they asked me like, hey, do you want to go out on stage and play drums for Metallica? He's like, I grew up listening to Metallica.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, do you need a minute to warm up? He's like, dude, just tell me the set list. I know the songs.
Yeah. Like, these are the songs I know, like, every... Yeah. These are the songs I warm up with every day.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that'd be fucking insane. Oh, my God.
I'm trying to find...
I don't even imagine.
No. I mean, hell, it was already...
Fuck.
Terrifying enough when we did that song with Trevor.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
Like, I wasn't even, like, playing my instrument in front of him. I was just sitting there and watching him do his stuff, and I was just like, oh, my God.
Huh?
What are we doing? We have no idea what we're doing.
He's like, legit. We're not. That's exactly what I'd be saying.
His dad's Max Weinberg, who played with
what?
Bruce Springsteen.
Oh,
what?
Tonight
shit.
Show. Yeah.
The Max Weinberg band. Yeah.
Oh, damn. Wow.
And he started. I guess Jay started with Madball. Played with Madball, it looks like a little bit, and then Against Me, and ended up with Slipknot.
Yeah,
so.
that's right, because he left Against Me. I do remember hearing that now.
Yeah.
And the Against Me, the singer of Against Me, was like putting out all these tweets, like trashing him, being like, "Oh, have fun with him," blah blah blah. And then everyone from Slipknot comes back like, "Yeah, he fit right in. We're doing just fine. Thanks.
We're good."
Yeah. So that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
insane. Yeah, that's insane.
That's unbelievable.
That's like stuff that you can only like dream about a lot of times.
Seriously, like
right place, right time. Man, that'd be epic. Fucking A. So
I'm trying to remember. I feel like there was I don't know, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say I'm just happy to hear that two fucking lifelong Slipknot fans are just unbelievably happy with it.
Yeah, dude, like
the show, the album, like that's awesome. I love seeing that, and I love seeing that Slipknot is fucking taking the charts right now and everything. Like,
yeah, that's like you were saying at the beginning, seeing that like like Billie Eilish has the #1 single or whatever, and it's like cool. Like look how well metal's doing, but we're not going to talk about that in the news because it's going to scare the boomers.
Right. We can't talk about We Are Not Your Kind because they got scary masks on.
Or the fact that they beat out Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the UK.
Yeah. And Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... Sorry, buddy.
Like, they are fucking... This album is gigantic right now. Yeah. And it's... In terms of, ticket sales and stuff like that, like, if it has anything to do with metal, it seems like it's selling the fuck out.
It really is right now.
Jesus fucking Christ, you guys almost fucking sold out Max Bar in Lansing the same night as Summer Slaughter in Detroit. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, there is a void right now that people are.
I saw someone online talking about the it being like political, like a political thing. Like if you look back during the Bush administration, like punk and metal had like a huge resurgence during that.
It's true.
And then 8 years of a Democratic president, and like it was more pop and country music. Now we're getting back into political turmoil, and like people are looking for that angry outlet again.
That's true. I could see that. I could see that because
Like-
during the Bush administration, that's when I first started going to metal shows.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I was so angry. So yeah, like
So you look at it and you see like metalheads will feel this because we're all much as we all sit there and we're like our fucking black shirts, camel shorts, and we're so hardcore. It's a group of genuinely good-hearted people.
Yeah, absolutely.
99% of the time. Sure, there are the few bad apples
Dickwads, yeah.
that'll ruin the bunch and like screw it up for everyone, but generally it's like good people looking for that outlet to let out a little bit of anger, let out a little bit of frustration, and metal will always provide you that safe space to,
in a positive way too, just from fucking screaming along with lyrics and banging your head and throwing the horns and moshing. Like,
yeah, you jump into the pit, and like the second, like one of my favorite things to see is like when someone goes down in a pit and like everybody cordons the area off, like get that person up. Are they okay? No, get them out of here. Like,
it's almost it's like it's kind of crazy. It's like for someone who who's never seen that, it almost it just happens. Like everybody, as soon as people see it, they cordon off the area. You know what I mean? It's like an organized event.
Yeah.
Everybody just knows what to do. It's fucking crazy, and it's all about safety.
And I've got like a lot of people that I work with that when I'll put on metal music while we're doing closing stuff. And like, this angry stuff that everyone just goes and punches each other to. I always encourage those people. I'm like, come check out a show sometime. Like, come watch what happens in a pit. Like,
watch what happens when someone actually gets punched. Like, you'll see. Nobody's punching each other.
It's organized chaos, really.
It really
in
is.
its purest form, I guess.
Yeah.
Just a perfect
not
blend of compassion and rage.
It's not safe, but it's not dangerous either.
I saw that. I don't know if you saw that video of, since we're talking about Slipknot so much, the one where he stops the show because somebody's getting like stepped on or whatever.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the video yet.
I mean, there are quite a few other bands that have done that in the past, or have like stopped shows for various reasons, but like I feel like this was pretty justifiable, and I feel like it says a lot for his attention to, kind of what's going on and stuff. And I feel like to a point, it didn't happen in the States, but as far as the whole Lamb of God thing that happened a few years ago, I feel like people have kind of changed their tone as far as like safety at shows and things like things like taking care of each other around like in the pits and stuff, and like actually just having each other's backs and stuff. I feel like is a bit more of a like important thing, and I feel like it's a little more focused on than it used to be.
But then after that happened, though, someone actually did die after being in a Slipknot pit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
And that's still under investigation. All that I read was that someone fell, then they walked out of the pit and kind of had a seizure and later died.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, pits are...
Yeah, it's still,
But I think it was like an older guy. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's, it's kind of, it's like taking boner pills. Like, make sure that your body is physically fit for mosh pit activity. Like, before you go and throw yourself in with a bunch of drunk 20, 30-somethings that hate their job and what's going on around them, and the only place they're going to be able to really take that out is on the guy next to them. That at the end of the song, you're going to both grab each other's shirts, covered in each other's sweat, and go, yeah, right in each other's face.
Literally hug each other. Like,
yeah.
I've seen that too.
Oh yeah.
Like it's
no one. Yeah, no one's trying to knock anyone over in a pit, and if they are, they're being an asshole.
Or they deserved it. Like
or the
I've
person
seen
that got knocked over deserved exactly, or they're being an asshole. Yeah.
I've seen some pretty crazy like things happen firsthand from people that are just kind of like trying to like crowd kill or whatever, and all of a sudden people just fight back and like so.
But yeah, it's crazy to me that happened that happens in the United States, and there's no warrant out for Corey Taylor's arrest, you know what I mean, as opposed to in Prague when it happens with Lamb of God.
Yeah. Well, that I don't know. That's a whole other
I guess the
case.
guy did get on stage, technically. That's true. It's like
the Slipknot one, like that's a person got hurt in the pit. Randy like threw that guy.
The video of Randy throwing someone is not the guy.
That's not it?
Nope.
I've
That
been
was-
under that
came out-
impression this entire time.
I know, it came out in the court case. If you watch the documentary, it came out in the court case that is not the guy that died. Yeah.
Did you ever watch that?
I did not.
Dude,
I did not.
It's
I'll have to
really
watch that.
good.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's really good.
Huh.
As the Palace is Burned is the name of the documentary.
I'm going to have to watch that.
It started as was going to be a tour documentary and then turned into that.
Yeah.
And that was the show that got canceled with Death Clock and Gojira at the Fillmore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that would have been hell of a
Dude,
Yeah.
I was so bummed about that because I just wanted to see
We had
Death Clock.
tickets.
Yeah.
We had
yeah.
tickets to that.
Oh, yeah. That happened like a couple weeks before. I think it was like, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks before. I was like, well, that's not happening.
Lots of that kind of shit. We saw it when Children of Bodom was opening up for Lamb of God. I think on the Wrath tour, they Alexi broke his arm again like 2 nights before the Detroit show. Came out and played the Detroit show in a sling, and the next day they had to come off the rest of the tour.
I remember that show.
You were at that show?
Yep.
That motherfucker was in a sling, and he still whipped his guitar around his whole body. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm sure he went to his surgeon, and he was like, dude, come on.
Jesus. That's crazy you were at that show.
Yep.
Hell yeah. That was a great show.
I remember that one. That was when Randy introduced Laid to Rest as the song from the game with the shitty plastic guitar.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like, oh.
Wasn't like Municipal Waste on that too?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Shit.
That was a good one. That was a crazy show. Oh, there's some news that fucking Cannabis Corpse is coming out with a new album on November 1st.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It came out with a single today. It's actually
Oh,
sweet.
shit. Let's check
Aaron
that out.
sent it
Sounds
to
dope.
me. It was fucking awesome. I can't remember the name, but it's coming out November 1st. I'm definitely getting that. I love Cannabis Corpse. They actually sound legit good. Like, they're actually legit good.
Nug so vile.
Nug so
Nug
vile.
so vile. Nice.
Yes. Sick cover, too.
Yeah, that's the...
Oh, dude, that's fucking
It's
sweet.
so sick. Love that shit. Well, fuck. Is there anything that you guys want to add about the show or the album or?
Just that, like, that's like the sorest I've ever been after a show without being in a pit.
Yeah.
I went a little feral about halfway through the show.
Yeah, you were losing your fucking mind.
I was, dude. I went nuts.
You became Wolverine. Like
I went because I had the next day off for recovery, and I literally slept until like 5 o'clock.
Yep.
And then the next day when I went into work, it was I was kind of Batman because my voice was completely gone. And when my voice is gone, the only way I can talk and like yell across the line is to do like the Christian Bale, like coming down the line, like. And I couldn't move my neck, so I had to like move my shoulders to talk to people.
Oh my
and they're
God,
like,
you're full Batman.
"Oh, full on, dude." And they're like, "Dude, what the hell is wrong with you?" I'm like, "I broke myself at a Slipknot show. Totally worth it."
Slipknot.
My boss was like, because my boss was the one guy that was there with us, and he left about halfway through the set. He's like, "Yeah, I figured you were pretty much in your own world." I'm like, "Yeah, I was." Worth it though. Every bit worth it.
Hey, there was one point where it's during All Out Life. I remember we both.
Oh yeah, dude.
Fucking like
We were grabbing out of that rail and just.
yeah.
Oh man, just slam. There was a couple times when I'd like open my eyes and realize I was maybe 2 inches from just headbutting that rail. Like,
Yep.
It's a real good thing I was looking.
Oh my God, that would be fucking crazy when you guys knocked yourselves out of that fucking rail.
Oh man.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
I knocked both my teeth out. Doing what? I don't know.
I was in the
Slipknot, bro.
I was in the pit.
Yeah.
For sure.
Slipknot.
I didn't headbutt a rail
Yeah.
of my own accord. I got thrown into it.
I mean, in fairness, if you knocked out some teeth, took a picture of it, and tagged Slipknot and said, "This is what happens when you go to a Slipknot show," they would have probably reshared that
Yep.
shit.
Oh, for sure.
I'd hashtag it with "Let me hit the keg just once" for
Yeah.
this.
Have you seen the video of their like when they were on their first Ozfest in like 2000 when they clown pulled the keg off and took the bat out and was having people hit the keg?
Oh damn! No.
But this dude did not know what he was doing, and he hits the keg, and the bat bounces back, clocks him square in the forehead, and he just drops, goes out cold. And Clown's
shit.
like, well, grabs the bat, tucks it under his arm, goes back up on stage, puts the keg back on the set, like, okay.
Done with that.
What do you do? I guess I don't know.
You wake up the next day and get to tell all your friends, dude, I hit the keg.
Yeah.
Very few people can say that.
And there's video of it. Oh man.
I will say that I liked and I'm still, I don't know. I guess it depends on like what he's doing with it at the time. But I think I like Corey's mask a lot more than I did initially.
Definitely. It definitely added I feel like pictures don't really do it justice. It's the way he runs his whole persona with like the big coat and the mask and everything, and standing there looking more imposing when he's singing his stuff. And pictures definitely didn't do it justice, because when it first came out and they were like, oh, we went through like, the guy in Hollywood and like to get all these masks done. I'm looking at everyone else's. I'm like, awesome, Mick. Still awesome, pretty much the same. And like everyone else. And then I got to Corey's. I was like, huh, okay. Like, I guess I could see it, but yeah, seeing it live, like.
Was it you that sent me that picture of the berries and cream?
Yes,
we were talking about.
It was the first official pictures that they had, because he had that like open mouth like face, and I was like, he looks like a metal version of the berries and cream kid. Like,
with the hair and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, that had me cracking up. It's like.
It was unfortunate, but that's what I saw.
I think a lot of it has to do with like the face paint stuff too. It depends on, because I think he did like the David Bowie thing for one of them. That was kind of weird.
Oh, I never noticed that.
Yeah, it's a bunch of different styles and stuff that he has, but.
Huh.
I mean, how he did describe it was either Neo Forte or Orphan as a black metal David Bowie song.
Yeah, there are definitely some influences like that you can hear on the album, like Bowie, Floyd.
Yes.
A lot of,
I even hear like a little Nine Inch Nails-esque stuff sometimes, like.
Little back to that old Dirty Industrial.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is a fucking full gambit, but it's awesome. It's the best use of all of their tools, it seems like. It's fucking fantastic. So any closing thoughts about that before I get to my final question?
No, I mean, other than that, I just can't wait to see them on the actual album cycle, not just the Knotfest. Like,
Now that you say that, it makes me excited for that. Like, who the fuck are they going to bring on that tour?
Yeah. Well, that'll be insane. I'm sure there'll be some random one-off,
Yeah.
A palate cleanser before them, like Volbeat.
I don't know.
That was like, did I say that out loud?
I hope it's not Volbeat again, but
I hope so too. I don't particularly enjoy them.
So. It just didn't fit.
No, it does not fit at all there.
You
can't have Behemoth and Volbeat on the same time. What the fuck are you talking about?
I went into it initially feeling like Behemoth was going to be before them, or at least Gojira. That would have made way more sense.
I thought Gojira was going to be first.
Yeah. No. Though my manager put it perfectly. He's like, dude, that's Volbeat was there for all the parents who don't listen to Slipknot, whose kids wanted to go to the show, and they're like, Mom, it's Slipknot and Volbeat. They do that one song on the radio you like. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll give you a ride to that show.
That's a good point.
It opened it up to everyone.
Sounds like a record company situation.
A little bit.
Yeah, maybe not a Slipknot hand-picked situation.
No, I don't think this tour was picked by them. I think this was a package that they were like, we're gonna do Knotfest on the road. And it's like, who's available? Who's not doing a tour right now?
Well, either way, it's a great package and a great tour. Yeah. Like, you should definitely go see it if you get the chance.
100%.
And listen to that fucking album, for the love of God.
The only thing I'm bummed about is that we didn't get a chance to see the museum thing that they had set up.
Yeah. I wish that were, they had it outside the gates apparently, and that's ridiculous. Why?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
That was my thinking, because it was like you couldn't exit, but it was like right outside, like, I don't know, 100 foot from the front gate. And like if I'd have known that, and if I'd have known we had as much time as we did, I probably, probably made more sense to stop and stuff. Yeah. But
yeah, there was really no like signage or anything talking about that.
Nope. You just had to know. It seemed like.
I did see some pictures of it though. I mean, it's up everywhere, so it was cool. But just to be able to, like, I don't know, as a fan for such a long time,
stand in the room with like the original marching snare.
Yeah, that would have been fucking awesome. I'm gonna have to check out the pictures. I haven't seen any pictures online.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Corey's OG mask.
I think even having that inside would have even made it feel like more of a festival too. Just having like one extra little thing in there.
Yeah. Could have just been they just didn't have the space for it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Which would have made a little more sense.
I just wish there was more of like a hey, this is it, kind of a sign or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we saw the trailer walking in.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, that must be like where it is. And then by the time we got inside, they're like, no re-entry. Oh.
Yeah.
But what about that thing?
Well, and then there was a bunch of like random, like there was a VIP tent that was sitting up there, but it didn't like it wasn't like marked off for anything specific. It was just kind of like a members tent.
Yeah, it said members come here or something like that. I'm like,
oh, that I think that's that was for
it's the outside
like
the 9 thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The meet and greet.
Oh,
people
okay.
had to go and sign in there.
Oh. Huh.
Actually, I don't even think it was a meet and greet this year. I think it was just like you got to like get a special section of seats and like drinks and stuff.
The VIP, you get a bunch of signed shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember because I was gonna do the VIP one, and then every single package had a thing at the bottom was like, "This doesn't mean you get to meet the members of Slipknot," and I was like, "I'll wait for one of those when I can."
Yeah.
I wanted to get if I had had the money, I would have pre-ordered the version of the CD that they all signed. There was one you could get at one point where they all signed the CD. I was like, yeah, and then it was like $50. I didn't have the money at the time, but yeah, no, fucking epic show, epic fucking album. Metal's doing great right now, despite what anybody says. Metal is not dead.
No,
fuck everybody. So I guess I'll wrap this up. We'll wrap this up with the. I like to ask everybody a question. It seems to always get a good response. So you are actually, something interesting is because I feel like because I actually went to high school with Julian. I was a few years older than him. I was in the same grade as one of his brothers, and fucking Aaron. I met Aaron back when he was in Medica, and Alex and Chase. I think they're all about the same age, but you and I are a little bit older. We're about the same age. You were born in '89, right?
88.
88. I was born in '89.
The grandpa of the band.
Yep, I'm definitely the old man of the band.
All right. Well, no, I love it because it's kind of rare that I meet people like almost exactly my age. It's kind of crazy. It's always like a few years younger, a few years older. You know what I mean? So like. I fucking I don't know. I always grew up being more interested in like the like when I was a kid and my mom would make me go to the fucking library. The only books that I'd be interested in would be the ones about like Bigfoot or ghosts or Loch Ness Monster and stuff. Grew up on like Tales from the Crypt and Goosebumps and X-Files and stuff like that. You probably saw some of that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, have you ever had in your entire life any kind of paranormal experience at all?
Oh yeah, dude. I grew up in a haunted house.
Oh,
straight up.
There you go.
Yeah. No, dude. I actually so we moved into this house when I was like 7, over on Lake Lansing Road. And when we were pulling into the driveway, I saw someone standing in the house with blue suspenders, a red shirt, and a green hat. Still clear as day. I always remember this guy because I said to my mom, "There's somebody standing in the house," and she freaks out. Go to the neighbors. You know, this is pre-cell phone, so she goes to the neighbors. They call the cops. There's someone in the house. They come and search it. There's nothing. So like, it's just me being a little shit. But I was convinced that I saw someone in there. So like over the next couple years, like, you know, stupid weird stuff like TV would just turn on in the middle of the night, be cranked up all the way, or like there was cupboard doors that would kind of click against stuff, and we'd always be like, "Oh, it's the ghost! Oh, it's the ghost that Michael saw!" Like, and it was like a thing that they'd make fun of me for. But one time, we had some Ghostbusters, like, you know, paranormal investigators, come in, and I was completely like poo-pooing on them while they were there. I was like, "Oh, where's your proton packs?" Like making fun of them. Until we went into my bedroom was in the basement, and we went down into the basement, and the psychic lady that they had with her started like touching her neck, and she's like, "Yeah, somebody hung themselves down here." I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, the spirit that's in this house, he definitely committed suicide, but it wasn't out of sadness. Like, he wasn't sad when he killed himself. He was just ready to die." And I was like, 12. And she like points to where my bed is, and she's like, "Yeah, it was in that corner." I'm like, "Oh my God." So we did some research. We found out it was the owner before the owner that sold the house to us. he was his wife passed away in the house, and they were like super fucking old. So he just went in the basement and, you know. And so we started being like, oh, that was a ghost. And we looked up the records. His name was Red something or other. But we just started calling him Red. Well, throughout time of me like being skeptical and like joking about it, like more and more, I started being like, oh, well, that's weird that Red's doing this stuff. Red started like following me around, and it would get to the point where I moved into a new house when I was like 19. And I was telling my friends, I'm like, yeah, I've got this ghost that follows me. Like, I don't know, like, I've been following me since I was like 12 years old. Apparently I'm entertaining, and we'd all joke about it. Well, and my friend's like, there's no such thing as ghosts. And as he said that, the bowling pin that was holding up the window, like, shot out of the window, and the window slammed shut and cracked. And I was like, dude, just say you believe in him. Like, he's here. Like, just, hi, Red. Like, so yeah, dude, yeah, no, 100%. Like,
Holy shit.
this ghost followed me around for like 10 years. And like, I don't know why. I don't know if he still follows me, if he just like doesn't have to prove himself anymore or something.
Have you had any experiences recently? Like,
see, I will say, since I grew up and began partaking of mind-altering substances, there are times that like I'll find my keys in the fridge and be like, was that him or me?
fair enough.
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna chalk this one up to you, Red. And I only imagine him sitting behind me like, no, it was your drunk ass. Like, you came home and you really wanted that banana.
So where was this house?
Over in Hazlitt.
In Hazlitt. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. That is fucking. So is that your own only, like just Red? Have you ever heard of anything like the Michigan Dogman? Have you ever heard of that?
I remember hearing about Dogman growing up. When we'd take vacations up north, and they had a big house out on like a big plot of land that we'd go out and play, and our parents would always tell us like, oh, don't go too far. Dogman's been sighted in the area.
What?
You know, like 7, 8 years old, we'd be like, well, I'll just stay inside and play video games. I'm like, nope, still got to go outside.
Yeah.
So who knows, like how many of my thinking I might have seen Dogman or heard Dogman was just,
right, them freaking you out.
9-year-old paranoia.
Yeah. That's crazy that you've actually heard of him, though. Most
dude.
people I ask have never heard of him.
Yeah, Michigan, that Dogman was terrifying growing up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was our boogeyman.
Absolutely. Fucking, God damn, that's crazy, though. Hell yeah.
We gotta write a song called Red, no?
Ooh.
That's not a bad idea.
You know?
Yeah.
That's his like in the movie of him, like that's his crossing over bit once we write his metal song.
Yeah.
He just materializes and like ends up
gives one set of horns and then fades off into the void.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, dude.
I guess Haunted was pretty foreshadowing then.
A little bit.
Things are coming. Look at that. That song could come out of this podcast. Last time when Chase and Alex were here, Chase came up with Bog Walker.
Bog Walker.
Oh, for our beer.
Okay.
Yeah, you're like,
For our brewery beer.
But still a good
somewhere.
name for a song or an
No,
EP or something.
it was Swamp Walker.
Swamp
That's what it
Walker.
was.
Swamp Walker.
I thought it was Swamp Water at first. I was like,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
well, that's cool too.
Swamp Walker.
Makes sense for beer, but
Yeah, no, that's something I should talk to guys at LBC about. Like, hey, what can I do to get like a one-off batch?
yeah.
That'd be sick. That'd be super sick.
We'll have to do that for the next album.
Yeah. Get out of
Do
the
an album release show at LBC with Swamp Walker beer.
That'd be insane. That would be epic.
Maybe.
I'm gonna write this down. This is something we're gonna look into.
Well, fuck. God damn, that was awesome. So, God, you grew up in a haunted house?
Oh yeah.
Wow, that is.
With a friendly like to mess with people ghost. Like, imagine Casper, but like he was like 14.
Okay.
And like was just learning how to do stuff. Like he hid keys all the time. He would do the hand across the keyboard. You would just hear that from another room and just be like, "I read," and then it would stop.
Ah, okay. Yeah, my cousin had some shit in his house for sure. Like one of the first nights he ever lived there, they had this big 4 foot tall, but it was like an oval mirror. You know what I mean? Like a Hey Arnold's head, like a football. And like it was leaning long way up against the wall. And one of the first nights he was ever staying there, he went out into a room where it was leaning up against the wall, and he saw the whole thing do like a flip. Like it flipped from one end to the other. and then like ever since then he had pretty crazy experiences. Like a few times, like one time he said he heard the fucking door open and close, and then like the second you walk into his house, immediately to the left is a door to the basement. He said he heard that door open and slam, and he said he heard footsteps run down the basement. And so we went down there with a fucking shotgun, and nobody was down there.
Shit.
Yeah, like he had some pretty crazy ones in that. That house was definitely haunted. Like there was one weird thing where he's like he had a light, like a regular light bulb with a fan in his room, and he said every night I'm laying here to go to sleep, and the cord or whatever for the fan and the light is like one of those little ball chains, and it like was just long enough to grab with your fingers. It was literally not long enough to touch anything. Like even if you jingled it, it was so short, it wasn't long enough to touch anything. And every single night he would hear like as if someone was tapping on the bulb.
Oh, Jesus.
And I actually heard that a few times. Like, I heard that myself. Like, that, yeah, there was some crazy fucking shit in that house. Yeah.
I'll say it seems like every time we do this, I think of something else that's happened. Because the last time I was like, well, sleep paralysis is happening and stuff. But this one, like, I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. But, like, so you know Justin, right? My old bass player.
Oh.
Old band. We were hanging out, and this is quite a while ago, and his girlfriend at the time was with us, and I had to stop by my place for something, and like so we get there and they're both with us or whatever, and all of a sudden she's like this is the house you live at? And I was like, yeah. She's like, oh well, I don't know if it was somebody, I think it was her like grandma or her like great grandma actually was like, she told me she was like cleaning the bathroom out, and like there was no windows or anything going out at the time, so like she like asphyxiated and like ended up like dying on like the front porch or something like that.
In your house?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What?
Old lady ghost, dude.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah. Like I still don't know, like, I mean this had to be like 6 or 7 years ago. So like
that
the
you
stories
found out about it.
Yeah, the story's a little bit different, could be, but that's like the gist of it or whatever. But like
damn.
Yeah, that was the moment where I was like, what? Like cuz
that's the kind of stuff that like you start hearing stuff happen, like, like you walk into your house when you're done and like the bathroom fan's on, you're like,
yeah.
God, I hope I left that on, and like it's not a ghost. Fuck.
Right?
Cuz like and it's weird cuz like I haven't really noticed any, I mean maybe, I guess it's when you don't notice anything that things are happening. But
Never noticed anything in your house though? You never had any kind of
nothing really.
Footsteps?
Me and maybe like some little like sounds here and there, like some every so often I'll hear like, seems like footsteps or something kind of like, but I can't tell if that's me or if that's just,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I can say this. The only time I know for a fact that I personally ever experienced footsteps that weren't from a person was there was no question. You know what I mean? Like the most maybe the most scared I've ever been was one time I was sleeping. It wasn't long after we moved to East Lansing, and I was in my old upstairs bedroom in the old house, and the hallway was carpeted, and I was in the room closest to the stairwell, and I'm sitting there trying to sleep, and I start hearing footsteps in the hallway, but it's not. It's literally boots hitting a wooden floor, but it's carpeted.
Shit.
So it made no sense, and I just heard those footsteps walk up, and it was a very short hallway, and I just heard those footsteps walk up and down the hallway a few times, and I just laid there. I couldn't fucking move. I could barely breathe. Like I was like
Damn.
9 years old. I was fucking petrified.
New level of terror.
Yeah, and I actually know for a fact that was not sleep paralysis because I was moving around while it was happening. That's something we talked about in the last episode. Is that something that a lot of people are attributing nowadays to haunting and abduction stories? Is a lot of times people describe these stories from being in bed, and that could be just sleep paralysis hallucination situation.
Yeah,
could account for a lot of the accounts of these things.
They've got that, and they've got that the ghost sound. Have you guys seen this thing? It's there was a professor, I can't remember the exact specifics, but there was a spot in his classroom that his students thought was like haunted. They thought his classroom was haunted. They didn't like going in there because they felt this like fear and anxiety like sitting in this one spot. And it turns out it's because the HVAC system was set up uniformly through the room, that the vibrations it caused like in this certain area like induced feelings of fear and anxiety. So they started checking out all these old haunted houses that are built like very symmetrically and have the HVAC system going through symmetrically. And it's usually at the top of stairs, like leading into basement, where the HVAC system is centered, where this tone is produced that like is inaudible, but like it induces this fear. That's where a lot of people are saying now that's where the fear of going down into basements, like, and like basements being haunted comes from, because there'd be that inaudible tone like humming through the house and focused at that point.
Holy shit.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's crazy. That's
yeah,
really
yeah,
interesting.
definitely. Like I said, I don't remember the exact specifics, but definitely look that up, because that's that kind of stuff. That's one thing I've always been like, is it possible to reproduce that in one of our songs? Because if I can get somebody to feel like our album's actually haunted when we play haunted.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've known for a while that like certain frequencies and stuff can like mess with your brain. And, like,
Yeah, dude,
you know,
they'll mess you up.
Yeah. So we'll have to, I like to experiment with that.
Yeah.
And kind of try to figure out if we can find that.
That's incredible.
Actual haunted EP coming.
Oh,
Maybe.
That'd be awesome.
We talked about some stuff. I don't know. I don't know if you listened to the last one or not.
Not all the way through yet, no.
Yeah, did you have anything to add about anything we got going on?
I don't know like how much we're really
That's
going into.
Yeah.
I guess we won't really know till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Exactly how much to bring up.
Well, we talked about the fact that there is something happening.
Yep. There definitely
There's
is.
something. Chase said there's something happening before new music, right? Is that what he said?
Yes.
That's fair.
And then, but there is. We did talk about last time that you showed me a handful of new things that you guys have been working on. So there is some new.
Yeah, we've got new tracks. It's kind of been a two-sided road that we've been going down, with like new stuff and the other stuff we've got in the works.
So is tomorrow just like a meeting or a potential announcement day?
It's potential. Well, I could say it'd be a potential announcement. It depends on like when we all get together and we talk about it.
Like a lot of times when it becomes an announcement, it's just kind of like, all right, is it done? You want to talk about this? Cool. All right, it's never like a planned out like,
Fair enough.
well, 3 months from now.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
we've kind of done that in the past, and we usually end up.
It doesn't, like we like to have stuff like when we did like Monstrous. When we dropped Monstrous, we just uploaded it, and as soon as it became available, we made the post about it, like, hey, new single, like got more attention than like an announcement of an announcement of an announcement. Like like there's some of those local bands that'll like pay attention to our page between 8:19 and 8:25 at 7 o'clock, like every day.
I mean, we've kind of, I don't know, try to stay away from that. We've done that in the past where just, you try to hype it up and try to get people at least like know that there's something to pay attention to, but at the same time, sometimes it kind of comes off as like, oh,
yeah,
check out this time. This is the announcement for the announcement about the announcement.
It's like I like being like I don't know, me personally, I like it being like a surprise, like kind of how when like Birth of the Cruel, when that came, and like I woke up and turned off my like sleep music on Spotify. I was like, hey, there's a new Slipknot song for. I was like, son of a bitch, are you serious?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, but yeah, there's definitely there's something coming.
All right.
That's what we can say.
Well, I'm excited. I'm very excited. So
It's gonna be a fun one.
Nothing else to add though?
Not really, just
I like the new tracks.
Thank you.
From what I've heard, I like the fleshy one a lot.
Yeah.
A whole lot, actually.
Just this one that Aaron and Chase have been working on recently. That one's got me. That got my jimmies all rustled.
Ooh.
I'll tell you what.
Ooh, you guys have been working on. Have I heard that yet?
I don't think so.
No?
The only ones I was showing you are the ones that are in the drive. So
They actually have vocal. They
Yeah.
almost sound done, for Christ's sake. But
Yeah.
they sound really good.
some of them are early ones that Julian's put together, and there was one that Alex went and added vocals to. And the rest of them are just like demo ideas.
Yeah, they're raw, like pre-pro kind of stuff
Yeah.
that gets tossed around and
Oh, they sound great. And they
Eventually
sound very different.
fleshed out.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Fleshed out.
Gotta plug it. Shameless plug.
Oh man. Well, this is hopefully this is a platform for you guys to do as many plugs as you ever want to do. But yeah, all right. I guess we'll fucking wrap this one up then. Thank you, Mike, for being on.
Oh, dude, thanks for having me out.
Oh,
And, looking forward to this.
absolutely. And fucking open door here. Anytime you ever want to come on and talk about an album, a movie, a fucking video game, ghosts, whatever the fuck.
With the ghost thing, I like that. We'll have to get together and talk about that because there's a lot more in the ghost repertoire. I've been through some haunted stuff around here, so.
Oh
Maybe
shit!
maybe we'll do a full episode, like a
Yeah.
full
I mean,
special of.
October is but a football throws away.
It is right there. So
it's right there.
Oh yeah.
All of October is gonna be Dogman, Haunted, everything, Neon Rouge.
The better half of the rhythm section is here. By the way.
Well.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh,
All
it
right.
is. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on.
No,
Come
of
back
course.
Yeah, man.
anytime you ever want. Seriously, literally any day I'm down to do these. So,
Right on.
and everybody listening, Bog Wraith on YouTube, Patreon, Bandcamp, Facebook, Instagram, not MySpace. I don't know why that popped in there. Is there anything else? That's Twitter. I think you do have a Twitter, don't you?
Yeah.
It just doesn't get used that much.
Yeah, nobody really uses it.
So mainly Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Bandcamp, Patreon. Oh, and Twitch. That was the other one.
Yes.
Twitch. Watch them on Twitch. It's sick. They show their fucking band practices and shit. Same for us. Follow Lost in the Dark podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Instagram, and Facebook are our major ones. So that'll be about it from us tonight. Thank you all so much for listening. Fucking raise your horns, bang your heads. I love you all to death. Good night.